Ohio, good guys take it, 135-119. Mitchell, 43 points, 16 of 27 from the floor. Jalen Tyson posted a double-double, season-high 27 points, 10 of 13 shooting to go along with 11 rebounds. Browns defensive tackle Malik Collins suffered a season-ending quad injury during Sunday's loss against San Francisco. Collins will need surgery in 12 games this season. Collins collecting a career-high 6.5 sacks. Meanwhile, right guard Wyatt Teller will miss Sunday's game against Tennessee as he's dealing with a calf injury. Browns officially moving to Brook Park last night. Cleveland City Council approved the $100 million settlement, which includes the team paying for the demolition of the existing stadium. City Council President Blaine Griffin telling Channel 3 News about the deal getting done.
We decided as a council that we just wanted to make sure that we protected the taxpayers of the city of Cleveland. So we believe it was a responsible decision, not one that everybody's happy about. Still believe in my bottom of my heart that the team belongs in the central business district.
Two sides going to be dropping any pending lawsuits, and the city will also cooperate with the Browns when it comes to the Dome Stadium and Development Project in conjunction with the overall going on at Hopkins Airport. Monday Night Football is heard right here on 92.3 The Fan. New England beats the New York Giants 33-15. Drake May pass for 2 touchdowns. The Patriots win their 10th in a row. You can now find 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. The best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas. Up next time for the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima here on 92.3 The Fan.
Catch Afternoon Drive with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin live on YouTube each and every weekday from 2 to 7 p.m. The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima.
Danmar gets a running start at Proctor. Elbow jumper. No. Wow, his hunt was over the top of Mitchell. Mitchell held his ground. He grabs the loose ball. Donovan's on the run. Right over Siakam. He lays it up and in. Mitchell's just dancing with the ball right now. He finds Tyson. Tyson knocks it down. Jalen Tyson pockets the corner 3 as the young man is on fire. So here's Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell goes to work inside out, and Matherin right to the rim. He puts it up and in.
He's really played like Superman for us, quite honestly. You know, without him, how many wins do we have? We have to ask ourselves that question. That's, talk about the great players in this league. This guy is one of them. Top 5, you can say whatever you want. Incredible player who plays both ends of the court.
This is what we should be doing. I don't think there's anything to celebrate. And this is no disrespect to the Indiana Pacers, man. Like, they're a different team and whatnot. And, they play hard. But, we should be coming out here doing this all the time. And that's what's disappointing about the past 3 games. So it's great that we won, but we should have to do it again.
This is Cleveland Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
Audio courtesy FanDuel. We'll get to that coming up. This is going to be a weird show today. A lot of innuendo and God knows what. Going to be a weird one. Hi, how are you?
Hey, what's up?
Oh, nothing. You had a clip. But the roads are terrible again, everybody. Let's just start with that. The roads are bad. Everybody's getting school off. It's December 2nd. People are going to be going to school in July.
The roads are bad for the people that have both functioning eyes. Imagine only having
you lost one of your contacts
on the way in.
Jeez.
I get so irritated. I put my contacts in right before I
6:04.
Right before I get out the door. And
you can't see, but I'm laughing.
No, I can't see. I have no idea. I don't even know where you are. I think you're in that general region. So I've had terrible eyes forever. I just wear contacts every day. And I don't wear glasses anymore to work. I put the contacts in.
Well,
and it always takes me a little bit to get recalibrated once the contacts go in because of the stigmatism and all of that. It's, optometry. What is it?
Optometry.
What is it? Optometry?
Optometrically?
Yeah.
That ain't the word. No, not
ophthalmology?
A chance.
No.
An
Oncology?
optometrist
No.
is who you see.
Ophthalmologistly
challenged? Yes. So...
you're the one who went to Sarah. You have a master's degree. You figure it out.
So I'm having those issues, but I don't recognize that I have wiped my contact right out of my eye. So I just drove to work, 30 miles an hour, 25 miles an hour the whole way, and it was a little hairy, not going to lie. So hopefully you have 2 good eyes on your way in today.
Okay, I'm going to preach to you here, and I'm sorry about this. No, I'm not. Do you have your old glasses around? Shouldn't you keep them in your shouldn't you keep them in your glove box?
You know what? No, honestly, my glasses are so expensive. I think I was always worried when I was living in Tremont that
They were going to get stolen?
Yeah, they were going to get stolen.
People steal your glass? Would they steal them for the
I
frames?
think they just take whatever. I don't. Sometimes it's just a quick.
Or at least they get broken in the transfer.
Right.
Well, when my truck got broken into years ago,
It's
they were looking
absurd
for
how
guns.
much glasses are.
Right.
They didn't find one in there.
Mine,
surprisingly.
almost the same parking spot I had that happen, but they ransacked everything else, and you can't trust that it'll be. Glasses are very fragile. They could get stepped on.
Oh yeah,
it's
well,
true.
and the kids at home, I'm facing that every day. By the way, are these computers, they're not Braille activated?
No.
It's probably best you don't look at the comments anymore, considering the fights you've been in recently.
What fights? Oh, it's
You've
fun.
been tweeting at everybody over the last how many days? You're getting obsessed.
It's fun.
No,
Come on.
it's not
if
fun.
You're not
It's
having
not fun.
I
This
saw
is
him
not
give
fun.
credit to Josina. I just read that.
So
This is not fun.
Josina Anderson went out of her way to give me credit for a very nice thing I had to say to her. Before she blocked other staffers at 92.3 The Fan.
Please put the safety on. Why can't you just put
He
the
can't
safety
see
on?
the safety.
I can't. I have no idea where it is. I'm feeling for it.
A guy who handles it that much should know where the safety is just by where his thumbs are.
An orange dot is
He
a red
should know.
dot.
Well, it depends on the make.
Yeah.
I mean, you can click it up. Plus, I'm a lefty, so it throws everybody off. Anyway, I'm not having any fun. It's not fun. It's not fun because I'm just like, guys, I just want the Browns to win, and I don't care who plays quarterback, and that's not good enough. That's not good enough. So I have this weird group of folks who, if you don't say great things about Shedeur Sanders at all times, you're horrible. And they say horrible things about you. And I'm just going, well, guys, he's not seeing the field. He's not seeing it the way that you want him to see it. I mean, it's a Joe Flacco situation, except Joe Flacco has 20 years of experience. And it turns out, I don't think Jerry Jeudy should have handled it the way he did. Because, again, my whole thought of it, and we'll talk to John Greco about it at 8 o'clock, Ethan Postic gets up, and when Ethan Postic gets up and gets between, I'm like, all right, it's not helping. This isn't helping the situation. When an offensive lineman has to get in the way and go over there, it's not you're not helping the situation anymore for your problem.
I had no problem with the fact that there was a heated conversation. You're right. Did it go too far?
It probably just went too far to me. Yeah. But I don't think it should go. There's no rift. There shouldn't be any rift between the two going forward because you need each other in so many ways. But when I say, hey, a lot of these guys breaking down the tape, they're right. There's some good plays, but there's a lot of not bad plays, missed plays, whether it be with the eyes, whether it be with I think in a lot of ways, when you brought up the anticipatory throws, he's got to throw to spots that he's got to trust the guys are going to be open. And I think he's terrified to throw an interception because I think that that's something that he doesn't want to do. And I think that that's something that they desperately do not want him to do. And so they're keeping him, they're trying to catch him up. And this whole thing has been, just don't throw a pick, just don't turn the ball over, just don't turn the ball over, just don't turn the ball over. Well, if you're afraid to throw the ball, then you're not going to throw the ball and you're going to walk yourself into some sacks.
Right. Right now he's had no chance to get picked off because he's not really putting any balls in ways where he can either throw a guy open or allow his guys to try to make a catch. He's just not even really pulling the trigger.
But you see, this is my other issue. Again, I am a guy who just wants the Browns to do well. With whoever it is, if I say, hey, he's got a higher ceiling than Dylan Gabriel, which he does, then immediately I'm a Shedorian and I don't see the truth for what he really is. And I'm going, guys, I don't know what fight you guys are having. You told me about certain corners of the internet yesterday. I had zero clue. And frankly, I got nervous because I didn't know what you were telling me. On the air. This is on the air. And I'm seeing these people, and they're just fighting every single day in this corner of the internet about Shedeur Sanders. I'm like, good God, guys. For the love of God, I know that it's cold outside and you really can't go outside, but go for a walk. I can't deal with it. So I'm a man without basically, I'm a Browns fan, and I want the Browns to do well. But other than that, there's no corner of right or wrong with me. I have this weird group of folks, and they are weird, who... He does no wrong, and everybody else is wrong about him. Even if he does well, he does no wrong, and everybody else is wrong about him.
Which, by the way,
is odd. Or you're not positive enough about him, I should say. And then hold on.
We've had so many quarterbacks. We've had quarterbacks with fan bases that do the same thing. It's just the sheer volume and frequency of his fans.
What that's created on the other side, though. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to run you over there. what it's created on the other side, though, is like this group of folks who I think they've got addicted to the argument, and they like just want to see him fail. And I go, I don't want him to fail. I do not want him to fail.
Yeah, why would we?
I don't know
why
what
would we want if he's the quarterback. It solves so many of our problems.
And I don't know what the end game is for either of these sides. And I just go, you know what? I'm just gonna turn my phone on, turn my phone off, and I'm just gonna go and do the show. Is what I'm gonna do, and whatever happens, happens. And I keep getting tagged on these YouTube videos and stuff. I'm like, guys, I ain't watching any of this. Not doing this because I got to get some sleep at some point, and I got to watch the Cavs at some point, and so I'm not just going to get addicted to this argument like it is.
You're not pulling up Shannon Sharp or Malacho?
No, I like Shannon Sharp a whole bunch, but I'm not doing it. I got others. I got the Cavs I got to pay attention to. I got college football I'd like to pay attention to at some point. I got the Browns in general that I like to pay attention to. And there's so many things that are being said that I just don't think are worth it. I don't think that I don't think they have a point to any of them. Like this, people, Stefanski needs to be fired. And I go, guys, he's the best shot you have at Shedeur being a quarterback of the NFL. Like I don't think new guys are going to come in and if he continues to play this way and plays the way that I said, where he has some good passes. There's definitely some talent in there, but it's not going to happen fast enough for them to change their stance on taking a quarterback. And we're having these knockdown dragouts over family members, for crying out loud. That new regime that's going to come in don't want any part of this. And so they're gonna want to clean their house no matter what. And you say that might be the best thing for them. But it's not, because, again, I keep going back to what situation, if you wanted him to play, what situation was going to be the best situation for him to play early? If all you wanted for him was to play. Because the Jets made their decision beforehand. The Saints made their decision beforehand. So you weren't going to have a situation where you were going to play earlier or be better taken care of, quote unquote. You probably would have, except you would have been sitting behind probably one of the 4 legends that we have in the game right now, and then that's it. So you would have never seen the field this year, which is what everybody's apparently angry about. Like, guys, I don't think Dylan Gabriel is a better quarterback, and I question them as well, but my motivations are Browns related. I don't know any other way to say it to anybody. And so it's blown my mind, and I think that a lot of us have gotten lost in this argument where I'm not going to say anything further about it. I want you to present this because I didn't hear it. And I don't want to shoot my mouth off before I hear this and then have to walk back some statements. Because you heard something yesterday afternoon that you didn't agree with, and how it was presented to me. I don't think I would agree with it, but I want to hear it, and I want to hear it out.
I'll just ask you
because I don't want to take anything out of context.
To tee it up, what was the best drive of the football game?
The touchdown drive.
And
apparently.
What did they do 9 straight times on that drive?
I thought it was 9 plays, and they ran 8 straight times.
What did they do 8 straight times? I got to get my
notes back. They ran the ball.
And then Shedeur had a brilliant play. Had a beautiful, beautiful play that definitely, again, almost like a golf shot. Almost like when you're having a bad golf round, but you have the one shot, and they always say, keeps you coming back. That one play, it made people like me, who have very big doubts and skepticisms about Shedeur, go, oh yeah, he can do that.
Yes.
Just like the Isaiah Bond play the week before. He can do that. I don't see Dylan Gabriel doing that. It was a beautiful throw to Fannin. Fannin bullied his way to the end zone. And I thought, hey, that was perfect. That was perfect. Even though I know we're evaluating Shedeur, but we're running the ball. But you know what? Some semblance of the running game opened things up. Then they got lost in traffic. You confused that drive confused Robert Saleh and his defenders, and it led to a touchdown. That was the only touchdown we scored in that game. I would have thought that was such a beautiful drive.
Okay.
The afternoon show disagreed.
So I want to hear this, because when you first told me this, I go, what?
It was 9 straight carries, and then the pass.
Was 9.
Okay.
Yes.
I wrote 9 play drive. I didn't write that
wrote
wrong.
It wrong.
I wrote 9 straight runs and then a pass. Okay, let me write that down now. All right, let's go ahead and hear that, because I don't want to take anything out of context. So go right on ahead.
I felt like the second half was a massive regression to the mundane for the Browns, and that's the problem I have. I thought you did a really good job of mixing up what you were going to do on each down, and I don't think it's coincidence that for the first time in as long as I can remember, you were putting your rookie quarterback in a lot of 3rd and shorts, or 3rd and manageables, even 3rd and 5s you can deal with as a young quarterback, and I don't think it's a coincidence that when they stopped doing that, when it became run on 1st down, run on 2nd down, and by by the way, mostly running within the tackles. When it became that, all of a sudden, the offense became very, very predictable, and all of a sudden, the offense couldn't move the damn ball.
And they also decided that they were going to rely so much on the run as their offensive line was falling apart in the game. Yeah. You started having so many injuries, and you started having KT Levinston back on the field and all these other type of guys, and Teller's being rotated in and out. Like, the offensive line is changing, and it is falling apart in the game, and their response to it was, okay, let's run the ball more.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you got 40 second half running yards. Like, it was pretty obvious. I don't know. I thought the game plan in the second half was pretty atrocious, if we're being honest.
So a few things. First of all, they're alluding to the second half in that clip. And in the second half, they started out, they ran on their first play, they ran on their second play. You know what they got?
What?
A first down. So then they threw on first down, and that got them. Eventually, they threw on second down. That got them behind the sticks. Then they punted. So they went away from the run. So that wasn't right, what they were talking about. Second of all, do you want, with KT Levinson in there and whoever else, the menagerie of moving parts, you want them to drop back more?
No.
That one doesn't make sense to me. You want to put Shedeur out there with guys that are, at that point, it's musical chairs? And you think that's going to be, like, the running game is the one safe thing you could do because you can just hand the ball off and punt. When you go out there and you're having a guy drop back and it becomes unreliable, and you notice they did not blitz. They didn't have to. They had 7 back almost at all times. They would rush 4. Sometimes they'll rush 3.
Well, this is what they told.
Because it was, hey, we're going to keep everything in front of us. Eventually, the Browns will implode. Eventually, the Browns will make a mistake. Yeah. What they did do is have more guys around the line of scrimmage in the second half. They made an adjustment. Quinshon Judkins had noted that. He said, we saw a different defense in the second half.
So I heard this secondhand from you. John Middlecoff called it an organizational win, right? That's what you said?
Yeah.
And that's what it was. Listen, I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything, but I'll choose my words carefully. Like, you got 40 yards rushing because they're going to focus on number 10, and they're going to think, all right, we'll adjust if number 12 starts to beat us. We don't think number 12 is going to beat us. And so they focus on number 10, and so now all of a sudden you have 40 yards rushing total. And a little bit of Dylan Sampson in there before he got banged up. But the reason you run the ball is because it's simple physics. It's easier to move forward than it is to move backwards. That's why you run the ball with not a great offensive line. You focus run first. That's why you do it. When you have backups in there, it's easier for them to move forward and find guys in front of them than to have to go into pass pro and focus on who's behind them and where they're going to be in turn with the people next to them.
He's barely had reps, right? With the normal offensive line.
With the normal offensive line, let alone the guys.
Now we're going to throw new guys in there and say, drop back in a one-possession game. So what sense does that make?
I'll admit, I'll play dumb. I'm not trying to play dumb here. I didn't hear the whole clip. I don't want to take anybody out of context. I can only go by what I heard. I thought the game plan coming out was great, but when your special teams is so terrible, it's going to change some things. And it's exactly what you said. Is that San Francisco, when you have muff punts, when you have Malachi Corley run out the 5-yard line, you can just turn this into a field. When you can't convert on 4th and 1, 4th and a half, because you're not even bothering to call a timeout as guys are running onto the field, and then Harold Fannin thinks that it's his responsibility. Like, yeah, you're gonna have a complete team loss in that way. Complete. So that's where the run game came from. So I understand. I should say this. Judging by the clip, I can meet them halfway on certain things. The game plan, though, I can't. That's all. That's all I'll say. I don't want to take anything out of context. I don't want to be nasty. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to shoot my mouth off. I have to apologize later. But that's where I am on that. So what a day we're off to. Roads are bad. Be careful. It's still snowing out there. A lot of people being called off of school. Nothing more entertaining for the kids than to put us on YouTube Live right now. You're going to learn so much more from us than Bluey.
You don't need Miss Rachel.
It's going to be fantastic.
You don't need Danny Go today.
Coming up in 5 minutes, they had no other choice but to pay him, and this is what we're stuck dealing with. And it's not who you think. Coming up in 5 on The Fan.
Anthony Lima for Van.
Find out the current value of your home in seconds.
Do you want complete control of your real estate listing? I'm Anthony Lima for Ryan Young and the Young Team, which still has a way to give you complete control of your listing through their instant cash offer. Gives you more flexibility than ever before. That's why I trust the Young Team. You should too. Google the Young Team and start packing.
Don't trust anybody with your Cavs coverage unless they have sports in their name. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
John Greco coming up at 8:01. I really want to know what happens in a sideline argument like Jerry Jeudy and Shedeur Sanders from a player's perspective. John's going to tell us coming up at 8:01. And what is the future of Wyatt Teller? I'm getting mixed signals here. But we'll talk more about that with John coming up at 8:01. Also, the neutral zone with Rat Boy and the Hog. This could be the year that this guy gets let go. And if this guy gets let go, would you want to bring him here? There is a history, technically, with the ownership here and that man. Who is that man? We'll tell you coming up at 8:45 this morning. So I don't think they had any other choice. It's not a great situation that you're in. You're dealing with a toe injury right now with Darius Garland. Surfside Cavs Update brought to you by the fine folks at Surfside, who always ask you to please enjoy responsibly. But Tim Bontemps from the Hoops Collective had said, boy, it's kind of the worst possible timing of what this team could be, whereas you have a player that's very expensive and the league is moving away from that type of player.
But even if he has his speed, he doesn't have the body strength to deal with the bigger guys.
He's been a multi-time All-Star. He's
a very good player.
What I'm saying is he's playing, but I don't think he's right.
Well, he probably isn't right. But at the same time, like, the league is trending away from guys, really small guards like Darius Garland. Like, whether it's John Moran or Trae Young or him, like, they're all really talented players, but the league is going towards bigger, more physical players. And we started the pod talking about how big Atlanta is across the board. Tyrese Maxey and Donovan Mitchell are not 6'7" guards, but they are big, physical, use their bodies to get in the lane and attack guards.
So I don't know what the problem, that's from Hoops Collective. The problem that you have is that I just think it was bad timing altogether. The team won last night. I know Donovan Mitchell had to throw everybody on his back again. It doesn't make anybody feel any better, but you had to, good God, 4 in a row, especially against a team like Indiana. Like, enough's enough. You got to go out there. You got to get a win, figure it out, and then we'll see on Wednesday because now they're playing a game every other day. I got Steve Kerr bitching everybody's ear off about how many games they're playing, and we're already a quarter of the way through the season. It's not even Christmas yet. However, hearing what Tim Bontemps has to say, Anthony, this is my take on it, is that I don't know what else you were supposed to do. You drafted the guy. He was the best possible player you probably could have drafted at that point. Number 4 overall, number 5 overall. We played 4.5 games in college. This is where you're at. You were going to not pay him because you couldn't really trade him because the league was, by the time you paid Darius Garland, like Tim Bontemps isn't late to that. He's just stating the obvious. By the time it was time to pay Darius Garland, the league was already moving away. So what's the trade value? What was the trade value you were going to get? Who's going to give you their, what used to be called tweener, which is now the dominant player in the league? Who's going to give you that player for Darius Garland when everybody's moving away from it? You're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. I don't blame the Cavs, or I don't blame Dan Gilbert in this situation.
Yeah, you'd be hoping to find a team that would have a bunch of length and a bunch of shooting and just hope that Darius's talents translate and then you can hide him on defense. I mean, that's basically when Trae Young was playing with Atlanta. Their whole focus was to hide him on defense. And then come playoff time, he's had some playoff success, Trae Young, but defensively it gets harder to hide a guy like that. And you see teams that just take turns going after him one-on-one. Then you saw it with Darius, who's not 100% and may not be 100% this year. You saw him trying to defend guys on the Boston Celtics, and while it's not the same Boston Celtics team as last year, they took turns like targeting, and including Pritchard, their smaller guy, took turns targeting Darius. It's just really hard for Darius always, defensively, and he battles. It's not for lack of effort.
But I think what some of the concerning thing that you get out of this is, no, he didn't play last night. He's toe injury managing, which is fine. It's fine for a lot of folks when they hear about it on December 1st. I think the major issue is when a guy like Brad Daugherty basically insinuates in so many ways that maybe he might be battling this forever with this toe. And really, if it weren't a toe, it'd probably be something else. Not that Brad Daugherty or anybody else is wrong, because he's such a slight figure that he'll probably be battling through injuries for his entire career. And if it would be one thing if Brad Daugherty's a big enough guy. I think God robbed him in so many ways because of the injuries there, but, he works in mysterious ways. that a guy like Darius Garland, well, you're 6'2", and you're playing amongst Atlanta Giants, and yeah, Donovan Mitchell's only 2 inches taller than you, but Donovan Mitchell, you can see physically, is a different being. And that's what Tim Bontemps is saying.
He mentioned Tyrese Maxey, too. Tyrese Maxey's ripped. Those guys absorb contact, and they have no problem finishing. Darius, he's always on the ground when he drives. I mean, he has to try to draw a foul. And which is, it stinks. Darius is really talented. He is super talented. He absolutely has 2 hard-earned All-Stars, All-Star nominations. He's been really good, and it's just, it's a shame that, they already are relying on the 2 smaller guards to begin with. And then Donovan, who here in late November, early December, basically is the only reason they are above 500. I mean, if Donovan had a shooting slump this year, they'd be under 500.
Well, let me ask
they'd be a play-in team.
Let me ask you another question, because without Darius, or with Darius even fighting through injuries basically his entire season now, from what it looks like, why am I having so many struggles with Evan Mobley? What are teams doing to take away Evan Mobley? Because, again, last night, 0 for 3, looked apprehensive to kind of take it in, looked kind of apprehensive to even shoot it. And you're having these games, I'd like to say up and down, but it's way more down than up.
Oh, Pascal Siakam kicks his ass. I mean, and Siakam...
I'm trying to be as patient as possible. I've been in his corner a long time. We're in year 5, and I can already see it around the corner where there's going to be a game where I sit there and I watch, and I'm going to say enough's enough, and I'm taking the gloves off in the morning.
But you saw...
I can already see it happening.
Honestly, you saw the 2 games prior against Atlanta and Boston that his role needs to just revert back to this. This stinks to say, because I was on board with organizationally the goal for him to put the ball in his hands. Who cares if he makes mistakes? Let's go. Let's see him play like a unicorn. And I just don't think that's him right now. I think you saw why he played well against Boston and was efficient against Atlanta. He was just a finisher. Just let him finish. Let him be a finisher. Let him get his rebounds around the paint. But if we're going to have him try to do unicorn Giannis stuff and have him catch the ball at the 3-point line, well, then he's not going to rebound, and then he's not going to be efficient, and he's still not good enough. He's still not talented enough to be a big-time playmaker.
Because I'm sick and tired of blaming Darius Garland for things I don't think he's capable of. I don't think he's capable of that. With Evan, I think he's capable of so much more, and he's just not doing that. And I think that when you have this team that now, you guys, you were seeing this in ticket prices. You brought them up. It's $4 to get in.
Oh, anybody.
You're seeing this. You're seeing this with how people take the regular season. You're seeing this with how they're taken in the regular season by those who cover the game. You're seeing this through all 3 phases. Your own general interest in the regular season. It's not enough to just win in the regular season anymore. Everybody's waiting till the postseason there. You are a victim, quote unquote, of your own success. You've raised the standard, and so that's what people expect.
They heard Donovan Mitchell at the end of last year when he got eliminated.
Exactly.
He said we could go 82-0
and no one's going to care. So this is the issue with it, is that people are going to really care. It's going to be a hands-off type of regular season. And I may start to complain and I may start to get in a lot. And I think some people are going to go, okay, Kenny, they're 13-9 or whatever. Maybe they're not as focused as they've been, even though Jalen Tyson is speaking for the entire team in year 2 of his career, which I don't necessarily think is the best thing ever that I've ever heard in my life, which is weird.
Awesome for him. I love
fine,
stepping
but
up.
do I expect leadership out of him? I mean, my God, we call about accountability all the time about another team. Either way, it's not going to be a big deal until we get to the postseason. Then it becomes the biggest deal ever. And if these guys aren't willing or these guys aren't able to reach that point, we're going to be stuck. But we've had this argument about Darius Garland where he's basically been the punching bag for the fan base for a long period of time. And there's been times where, yeah, even I've been upset with it. But damn it, I look at a guy who's physically incapable of doing the things that I'm asking somebody else who's physically capable of doing. It's supposed to be a land of big men who are athletic, who used to be called tweeners. That's supposed to be Evan Mobley. That's supposed to be him. And I'm being as patient as I possibly can be. But we're in year 5, and it just can't be Donovan Mitchell 40 a night for the rest of the season. It can be, but you're going to be out of the postseason very quickly. Very quickly. And then people are going to have their feelings hurt, and people are going to get upset, and you're starting to blame things that I don't necessarily think are to blame. I have to look at number 4.
I mean, did you see Jalen Johnson
if
the
he
other
doesn't
night?
get to the place he needs to be, while you keep mentioning guys that he's supposed to be better than by now.
And Jalen Johnson's like 3 inches shorter, and you would have never known it by the way he played against
Scotty Barnes, Biyombo, Pascal Siakam. If he's supposed to be better than these guys, and he's not better than these guys, and we're in our 5th year, I'm going to lose my mind this spring. Because it's not about the wrong guy. It's about not fulfilling a prophecy of what you were supposed to be. And that, I can't even look at Kobe Altman and get that upset with it, because you tried to make the best pick at the best point, the best place you possibly could. But when you have guys who are doing it differently or doing it better, then I have to question the player in general. 216-474-0092. Coming up at 8 o'clock this morning, John Greco going to join us on the show. I want to know what really goes on the sidelines when 2 players have a spat, especially a quarterback and a wide receiver. And I don't want to talk about this, but you're right. If we didn't, we'd be pretty big hypocrites, considering we do talk about the other quarterback's family a whole bunch. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. The Family Feud coming up in 5 on The Fan. Window Nation and windownation.com.
How do they do what's right when things go wrong? Tune in to Baffling Mysteries to find out.
This fictional podcast is brought to you by NJM. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
There's Cavs and there's NBA news that happens while you at work. Baskin and Phelps. Weekday mornings starting at 10.
Mitch, you're going to have to take us through this here, friend.
Okay.
Mitch Spinell. Almost want to call you Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Spinell, our producer. He is with, this is not Rat Boy and the Hog, but I wanted to call us Rat Boy and the Hog. Good morning, everybody. I don't like doing this. I'm uncomfortable with it. I don't like bringing in family members here. Apparently, though, Dylan Gabriel's fiance caused a row on the internet here, and we do speak about Shiloh Sanders. We do speak about Deion Jr., so this would be obviously where we would have to speak about the fiance of Dylan Gabriel here. What's the row that's been caused? This has been on TMZ now, so here we go.
This stems from a pair of TikTok videos that was posted to Dylan Gabriel's fiance's TikTok page, Zoe Caswell. I couldn't find which comments that were under the video, but the one comment that she was talking about, the fact that her fiance was not starting for the Browns this Sunday was Shedeur Sanders. She actually made a little bit of a comment here at the beginning of one of these videos, which I have. I'll play it right now.
Okay. Happy game day. Today we play the 49ers. My fiance Dylan's not playing. I have thoughts about that, but I'm not going to share it. So let's get ready.
So she was vague there. Then in the comment section, somebody made a little bit of a statement saying, the little comment you made right there is disgusting, and then
wait, disgusting what? What was that?
There's a comment here that I am not able to.
Okay, then just say expletives or whatever. Okay, okay, thank you, because I don't know what the other words mean or what the sound. You can't yada yada. So just go ahead.
They finished it off by saying nobody in the locker room respects that little dude, and then she responded and said, actually, everyone in the building wants him to play, but you wouldn't know that because you've never played in the NFL or been a couch, right? She spelled couch instead of coach.
Coach. All right. Kenny, do we think the locker room is firmly behind Dylan Gabriel?
No.
Do we think they're firmly behind Shedeur?
I don't know. I saw the one Cameron Wolf thing where it seems like everybody really likes Shedeur Sanders in the locker room. I'm not sure. But I'm guessing they would be. I think they want to just get a quarterback who will help them win. But they're maybe a little bit more behind Shedeur than they are Dylan Gabriel.
Is anybody behind Bailey Zappi?
No. Bailey Zappi isn't even behind Bailey
Zappi. Even though he is statistically his career, he's been better than
Bailey Zappi's making guys. What a week, and he's got 5 weeks left in the season. I think Bailey Zappi's feeling just fine right now, being where Bailey Zappi is.
Is anybody behind you know who?
Oh, maybe. Absolutely. There's definitely guys behind you know who.
His film crew?
You said guys in the locker room. I guarantee there would be guys in the locker room who are behind. I bet Jerry Jeudy might be behind you know who. I'm willing to bet that. So your question is what? That this is going to create dissension within the locker room?
Potentially. I mean, I also wanted to put out, she had one of her captions of one of her videos that said, Browns lost. What else is new?
Oh, God.
Okay, so a couple of things here. I do think this is, while there's no doubt the Browns invited this by drafting a quarterback in the third round and then basically, undercutting him immediately by drafting a quarterback that's way more famous, way more popular, cooler in every way. Like they did. They drafted Shedeur. And that is a way to immediately sabotage the chances of, but whatever. They made it a competition, even though they misled the public about what kind of competition it was. I will say, in the year 2025, this is kind of what it's going to be like now in the NFL with all these quarterbacks that have all made, millions of dollars coming out. They all have their fan bases. They all have their handlers. People are getting paid already. So they all have, not to the lengths of the Sanders family. They have cameras following them everywhere. This is like your new NFL when it comes to quarterbacks because these guys were made guys coming out of high school in the academies that they played.
Let me just tell it how it is here. Let me tell you how it is here. Is this person an influencer?
She has about 24,000 followers,
right,
so not a huge one.
Okay, but still, she would consider herself an influencer. You can't be doing this. I mean, if my own, like, we take shots at other shows here. That's us taking shots at other shows here. If my wife decided to get on whatever social media she wanted to and decided to take some sort of a shot at Nick Wilson, I would have a problem with that.
It would be hilarious. And this station...
You would think it's funny.
This show does not want to dissuade her in any way from taking shots at other shows.
I would have a problem with that. If she got on here and started saying things about Nick Wilson or Jonathan Peterlin, I think I would...
right there is disgusting.
I would have a problem with that. I would not like that. So, because it creates more problems. He speaks when? Does Shador speak Wednesday? Does he get asked about this? You know, these are problems that you can create.
If Jeff
and you don't
Shadell has any
create.
guts, he's going to ask the question we all want to know the answer to.
Your significant other is a backup, and now maybe he has to answer questions that he didn't need to answer before. I understand. There's been plenty of family members who have not thought highly of the Cleveland Browns in the seasons that they had. We had a coach's own daughter have a problem with the Cleveland Browns in general when the guy got hired. And it was awkward, and it was unseeming, and it was not fun to go through. And this is not fun to go through right now.
Yeah. Do you see what I mean, though, when I say...
I think that both these guys have been kind of set up for failure in so many ways.
Right.
And that, yes, privately, she would probably be well within her rights to feel this way. But when you make it publicly like that, these are unnecessary shots you had to take. These are unnecessary shots you had to take. You could have taken... When he ends up with the San Francisco 49ers or the Las Vegas Raiders, like he's bound to do, or some other team in the NFL, take all the shots you want. I don't know if you want to, because you might be back here, because he's probably going to be a backup at some point again here, because backups pop all over the league. But take all the shots you want. But while the season's going on, you're telling me I got to comment more on this as time goes on, because more of this stuff is going to happen? Because everybody's an influencer now.
Yeah, I mean, look,
famous people date famous people.
All these quarterbacks already have huge followings, and part of cultivating those followings is to use it to monetize. And they're learning this in high school. You know, what did we just have happen in Ohio? NIL. You know, a version of NIL gets passed.
So my son's girlfriend is going to have to take shots about the fan, and all of a sudden I have to deal with that someday.
I think that is part and parcel of this new world that we're living in. I do. It sounds crazy, and in this case, it's just because the sheer magnitude of who Shador is. It had to be pretty miserable to be selected as a top 100 pick.
Yeah.
To get the call from Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski that you're our guy, you know, and you look at the Browns situation and you're going, oh, well, I'm going to get an opportunity this year, and I'm going to be in the. If this coaching staff stays and organization stays intact, I'm going to get the opportunity to have a starting job in Cleveland, Ohio. And then you get 5 starts. And the guy behind you is the one everybody wants to see, so much so that you get booed if you come into a game for one play after you were concussed. Does have to suck.
Well, my issue would also be, I'm sorry to say this, but I've been in the locker room. Now, I've never been a coach. I would have to think that the quarterback ahead of Dylan Gabriel I think he has a higher ceiling, and I'd much rather see him. Now, that's okay. Again, if you want to give those opinions, this is a free country. She's more than welcome to give those opinions. But then there's going to be questions about those opinions that are asked on a Wednesday in the locker room.
For sure.
That other guys have to answer, that you don't want to have to answer.
When Andrew Berry decided to go this route and they took Shador, were they comfortable with, or were they naive to how this would actually play out on the field if one of them didn't just surge so far ahead of the other? Because hey, we think Shador's better than Dylan, but he hasn't. By the numbers, he actually hasn't. But by our eye test, he's looked better. But it hasn't been so transformationally obvious that. Did Andrew Berry understand what this was going to invite, or did he think, "Hey, put both guys under the pressure cooker and let's see what happens"?
I would hope it's more the latter than the former, because if you didn't know that in 2025, yes, you have people who are influencers, and then you have to take in the 5th round much more famous people who are influencers. You're going to end up having some situation there that you maybe needed to warn each other on. Then if you didn't know that, then there's another problem there altogether. John Greco going to join us at 8 o'clock. Mitchell, thank you very much for your explanation, young man. Coming up next, it's simple. You're 3 and 9. One guy has a higher ceiling. You roll with him. But I think I know why Kevin won't commit. because he has to answer questions he shouldn't. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, next on The Fan.
Anthony Lima.
the Odyssey app. Headline Sports News every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
All the Browns and NFL news you may have missed at work. The Afternoon Drive. Weekday starting at 2. 92.3 The Fan.
This question our boss wants to know. And he's like, why didn't you guys think any more about that? Why didn't you do? I'm like, not everything needs to be some great big investigation. However, it was Daryl, right, who asked the question to Kevin yesterday, Big Kev? Was it Daryl? I know Daryl asked him some series of questions. But Big Kev had to answer a question about Shedeur Sanders. And is it still week to week with Shedeur? Survey said.
I'm just dealing with our football team week to week, but I'm pleased with his progress. He wants to continue to get better and better, and that's the right attitude to have, and that's why we'll continue to work.
Here is him going a little bit further about the improvement he sees in Shedeur. Go.
Shedeur had some really good moments in that football game. There are things that he wants back that we're coaching up right now that he can improve upon, but bottom line is we have to continue to put our players in position to succeed. For the young quarterback, you only get better with more turns at this thing in these games as you see more coverages, as you see more defenses, and as you prepare versus different defenses. So just looking forward to that constant improvement with Shedeur and for all of our young players.
So our boss asks, and I think I have a reason why, but I want to know, first off, let's go around the room real quick. Owen, for a moment, if you can. First off, Tone, do you believe Shedeur should be the starter for the rest of the year?
Yeah, I think so.
Took you long enough to do.
If he implodes over the next few weeks, then you're not even.
Okay, but for the
he's not really even benefiting by being out there
for the foreseeable rest of the year. Should he be the starter? Okay, yes. Owen,
for all of 2025 because Week 18 is in 2026.
Okay, okay. So I believe he should be the starter for the rest of the regular season. He has a higher ceiling. Can I pass along a theory to you? And I want to know, should Shedeur be guaranteed the rest of the season? 216-474-0092. Barring injury or just a complete failure, I just don't think... I think that you have a guy right now who I think is a little bit afraid to throw the football down the field, or at least throw to open windows, throw guys open. I think he's a little bit afraid to do it. He's not afraid to throw the football down the field to guys he knows who are open, but I think that he's afraid to throw to open windows because he doesn't want to turn the ball over, because I think that when you have backups playing in the season, he is one of them. Your first and foremost thing is to not turn the damn ball over. You don't care about anything else. Okay? If he were the number one pick, like Cam Ward, it might be a little bit different. However, I believe that he should be guaranteed the rest of the season for whatever the word guarantee means. I think I know a reason why Kevin won't say week to week. Because if you say that he's the starter the rest of the year, doesn't that call into question your third-round pick then? Doesn't that call into question the guy you took 2 rounds ahead? Like, why wouldn't he be the starter for the rest of the year?
I think we questioned it at the start of the year.
And
we're questioning it now.
And this is what my issue was when, and Andrew couldn't answer the question now because we're back into the season. But when you have to answer these questions and you really don't want to give an answer, it's just best to say, well, we're going to go week to week. I would feel that he's probably week to week for the rest of the year on Shedeur Sanders. Because then you get to a situation where you never have to go, yeah, we wasted our third-round pick. Because it would make you believe. Follow me on this. I don't want to think too deep, or I don't want to get too crazy in conspiracy theory land. Think with me on this. As long as you say week to week, like Shedeur could go out there and throw for 3 touchdowns and 300 yards coming up on Sunday against Tennessee. Tennessee's bad, we can hope. He could have a fantastic game, just fantastic. I think Kevin will still go out and say, yes, Shedeur is our starter next week. And then I think someone will go, is he guaranteed the rest of the year? And he will go, Shedeur is our starter week to week. He just ain't going to answer that question. It ain't going to happen.
How did he? I'm being totally honest here. I don't remember. How did he answer those questions when it was Dillon Gabriel?
I think that it was more week to week, was it not, or for the foreseeable future? I think it was more that. But
yeah, I don't remember him saying anything definitive when Gabriel was the starter.
Because if you came out and you firmly said that he is our starter for the rest of the year, you might get to a point where you just don't care and you wouldn't go ahead and say it, fine. But then my immediate thought would be is if you're not winning, we just got all the time in the world to sit here and go over losses and big picture stuff, because that's what we do when our team's terrible and we're 3-9. We can only focus on the big picture, and that's fair. I would go, then why did you make that pick in the third round? I have so many other needs. Could I have taken an offensive lineman in the third round that I can maybe put in there? I mean, you're working in other offensive linemen now. That's a conversation for later in this show. Could I have taken another guy in the secondary? Could I have taken another linebacker? Could I have taken another defensive tackle? Could I have done something like that? Could I have taken a guy who was going to be able to contribute other than my guy who's going to be a career backup? And you took him 94th overall. Like, as long as I say week to week, there's still that possibility that, okay, Dylan could start next week. I don't think it's realistic, but there's still that possibility. Do you follow it all on that? Yeah. I don't want to go off on harebrained stuff.
Yeah, I think we're in agreement on that.
But the question is, should he be guaranteed then? It's not going to be said, but would you just guarantee him the rest of the year? And my issue is, we're sitting around here at 3-9. I don't think it's getting that much better here. I think one guy has a chance to have a high ceiling, and I need one guy. I need him to get me to believe something different about quarterbacks next year. And I want to give him chances. I don't believe Dylan Gabriel is going to give me the chance to believe that we don't need to take a quarterback next year. Shedeur, I think it's very, very thin tone, but he gives me a better chance.
From a team perspective, there has been the thought, let's be honest, let's not act like this wasn't out there and wasn't some of the prevailing thought at the time.
What?
That when they drafted Shedeur, it was an owner's pick. That the owner came in and said, what are we doing here? Like, why wouldn't we take him? Let's get some excitement around a team that's not really the focus.
Not
the
really
goal
exciting.
Isn't really to just win games. Let's see if we can do this. And then if that was the case, then there's not been enough time to evaluate Dylan Gabriel as far as the front office is concerned. For me and you, we've been in agreement on Dylan Gabriel since moment one. Why'd you draft him? Overdrafted. There's not a lot here. But that's not what the organization thinks about him, right? Like, they haven't given up on him. They haven't given up on Dylan Gabriel.
No.
No. So then from their perspective, I could understand them saying, hey, if Shedeur goes out there this week and loses to, the worst team in football, or I think they're 27th in DVOA defensively.
They're really bad.
They're really bad.
They're really bad.
And if he doesn't look good against them, we need to see Gabriel again, because we have to make big decisions in this offseason. And we have 2 first-round picks. Like, do we go with a bridge quarterback? Do we draft one? Either way, we have to make sure that Dylan does not flash in any way. You and I would laugh, Dylan Gabriel's going to flash. But they're the team that took him in the top 100. We didn't.
Yeah, so that would lead to their preconceived notions and their belief. Now we would go, well, you guys got this wrong, and this was a giant waste of time. And I think that a lot of people would probably agree with that. But, we're only outsiders. We don't look at it from the inside. Football people are very, very steadfast in their beliefs, and they really are steadfast in their beliefs on certain players that they take in the draft, especially in the top 100 of the draft. But I think if you were to come out and you were to say, well, he's the starter for the foreseeable future, then you lead yourself into other questions that you have to answer that you probably just don't want to answer when it comes to your quarterback, when it comes to the decision that you made. Because if I said he's the starter for the foreseeable future, and you turn right around and I go, Anthony Lima, 92.3 The Fan, and you said, well, where does that lead Dylan Gabriel? And then why would you have taken Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round and then have him as the starter for the rest of the year as the 5th round? Has it already shown that he was not worth the 3rd round pick? As eloquently as you can put it. I'm like a fist fight with that question, but you get what I'm saying. How do I answer that? How do I do that? Do I just say that Dylan is working his way through and we think it's the best thing for him to see it on the sidelines first? Okay, then do I trust him to even go into a game? Like, you open yourself to more questions that you do not. Now, he doesn't want to answer anything.
But he opens himself to more questions. Vague as hell on that, right?
Yeah.
He's going to say we're going to just put our young players in the best positions possible.
But you see, I started hemming and hawing right there because I'm talking to you guys right off the cuff right now at 7 a.m. on a Tuesday. He's prepared for all this stuff. So it's in his best interest. They prepare him, and he knows this. That's why he doesn't answer anything. So that's why he's going to say he's our starter next week, and he's week to week as we go. Because he knows that I can't turn right around and ask him the question, have you wasted your 3rd round pick? Because he knows where he's going to go with that answer. Any coach in the NFL, whatever you think of Kevin, Tomlin, McVay, they need to know that. You don't open yourself up to have to answer questions you don't want to answer. And so you would go, well, what's the situation with Dylan? Dylan is continuing to improve, and he's ready to play when he's called upon. Would you ever go back to Dylan? Right now, going into next week, Shedeur is the starter, and that's what we're focused on. Simple. It's absolutely simple. And you could say that's BS. I'm sure a lot of guys driving around, if they're not white-knuckling it right now because the roads are so bad, give yourself some extra time, folks. Say that's probably BS, but that's what he's going to answer with. But if I just say, well, Shedeur is the starter from here on out, whoa, you took who in the third round then? You took what in the third round? Yeah, that ain't going to wash with the fan base. 216-474-0092. Do you think that Shedeur, in your eyes, Kevin doesn't got to say it. He ain't going to say it. But in your eyes, should he be guaranteed the rest of the year? Because he's got to go out there and be horrific or hurt, God forbid, that he wouldn't play the rest of the year. Because I got one guy who I don't know how great of a chance it is. It's probably pretty slim. But I got one guy who I think that does have a higher ceiling, and I got another guy who I just don't.
Well, do you think when you saw some of the lack of awareness stuff from Shedeur last game, whether it was the fourth down,
can he improve on that? Are you asking? Yes.
What I'm wondering is if they see more of that and they're losing, is there going to be some of Kevin that's like, yeah, he does make the nice throws once he gets out of the pocket, but if I can't trust him to have that awareness stuff and the anticipatory throws that we talked about, and you're seeing it with the all-22 out, that he's flat out missing some guys wide open, or if he would just lead them a little bit and give that a chance. Does there come a point where he's like, he's going to lose guys. He might have some juice in the building, but if actually on the football field, like you got to have juice on the football field too.
Can I answer that in 5 minutes? Mm-hmm. Is that not a cop-out if I answer that in 5 minutes? All right, I want to answer that, and I want to get to you guys, 216-474-0092. And Shedeur didn't say anything, and it's a good thing he didn't. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work, and be careful on your way to work today. It's terrible out there. 92.3 The Fan, 92.3 The Fan on the free Odyssey app, and we're live on YouTube for free. Tom Merriman and Merriman Legal. He's my team.
YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Get the best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
So I got to throw something by you here. Well, I'm gonna get to this call, and you wanted me to answer this question. I didn't want to throw anything by you, I should say. I told you give me 5 minutes. You had asked, what if Shedeur does what? It plays poorly here over the next 5 games, or anything like at any point, like really bad. Like what were you saying?
I said basically if he gives them no shot to win. Like I know I've thrown out the analytical stuff that shows he's the bottom of the NFL. Statistically, but he's at least thrown in some the Fannin throw, the Bond throw, where you're like, oh, kind of like Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart statistically has not been good. But he's been given a pass because he's made these dazzling, amazing plays, even though you and I know he's not going to survive out there taking the hits that he has been taking. Last night, he got depleted.
Last night, he just got hammered.
But he had a 2-point conversion where he looked like Patrick Mahomes meets Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
So he keeps doing just enough to make you say, hey, he's got to be out there regardless of the stats.
Yes. Okay, so let me ask you this before I answer your question. Do you think that so you asked me if he's going out there and he's making mistakes, do you think that he can get better? Do I think he can get better and do that? Because I want to ask, do you think that Dillon Gabriel can improve upon those things?
Oh, I think Dillon Gabriel. I think any rookie. This is not just Dillon. I think any rookie can get better, including Shedeur.
Because this is where
time.
Yeah, this is where I have to control. That's where I have to compare the two. One, I'm not trying to be mean-spirited. I'm not trying to be unrealistic about Shedeur. As of right now, guys, we're drafting a quarterback in the first round. Get used to it. Can I be as blunt as possible? Mm-hmm. Okay, there it is. I got to give one of these guys the best chance to change my mind over the next 5 weeks. I think that one of them is more of a waste of time than the other one, and I think that I don't want my time wasted. If I'm going to watch a 3-9 football team go out and find ways to lose like they did on Sunday, I don't want my time wasted as much as it's not going to be as much as it's already wasted by watching them lose. I want to see the guy who I think has a higher ceiling. I want to see Shedeur. I think that if he can correct those mistakes, being a bigger guy, more accurate, et cetera, I think that would give you a better chance. That's what I believe. Now, I could look at it and go, both of these, if I really wanted to be nasty about it, both of these guys are career backups. We just got done at 640 talking about the noise that one guy's fiance just made on the internet, which I'm not a big fan of, I got to tell you. But one fan base is very, very strong. The other fan base is kind of non-existent in so many ways. One guy is probably more cut out to be a backup quarterback and just be seen and not heard or not even seen for the rest of his career. That might be taken into account. But again, I'm 3-9, so I'm trying to find anybody to try to change my mind on what I think this team is going to do in the future. That's what I want you to focus on changing my mind. If you can't do that, then I'm just going to draft a quarterback in the first round next year. And I might not even blame you for it. It might just be the way things are going to go. I don't want my time wasted. I would believe that Shedeur would have the better chance to improve on those things. Because there are things, guys, that you just can't deny.
But is there a bigger question? Are you and I wasting time talking about who should get starts on a team this bad when we're talking about how poorly, relative to the rest of the league,
in the grand scheme of things,
that Shedeur and Dillon Gabriel have played?
In the grand scheme of things,
and the fact they have 2 first-round picks.
Yes. Guys, the whole thing.
Does it kind of seem silly that we're even sitting here trying to argue
I don't know.
who should get time on this team the rest of the year?
Yeah, you know what I'm hoping for? I'm hoping because like Drake May, I'm watching the game right now. Let me I'm going to go to the phones. 216-474-0092. Drake May. How did a lot of people feel that Drake May was going to be transcendent? Or were you maybe not paying attention because we had Deshaun Watson? That's always an out that you can use. But there are a lot of people calling in here saying that Drake May, whenever we did talk quarterbacks for that draft, was going to be a transcendent quarterback because it looks like he's going to be a transcendent quarterback. Like he's going to be part of the great group of franchise 1%ers that go up in that upper echelon already. Now, that's a lot to say about a guy in year 2. But were there that many people saying it? Not as many as we've heard with other guys. Were there that many people saying it, maybe even with Jackson Dart? People really like Jackson Dart right now. Were there that many people saying it? Not really. So my goal is for this to all be a waste of time. And for next year, we have, I don't know, take it Dante Moore, where it's like, he does this well, but he doesn't do that well. And then all of a sudden he's taken off with the Browns. Because remember, if we gave Kevin Stefanski 2-time Coach of the Year because he was the head coach of the Browns, we're definitely going to overrate any quarterback that's able to get the Browns going, okay? So that's going to happen. So if like Dante Moore becomes this guy in November and the Browns are above 500 and they're in the hunt and he's looking good, I hope to look back at last December, which would be right now, and go, man, we wasted a lot of our own time talking about that. That'd be great. But that's up for Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel to change. And I think I'm going to give a better chance to Shedeur Sanders to do that. 216-474-0092. Mike in East Cleveland. You're first up on the Fan. Hello, Mike.
What's going on, Ken?
Hi, Mike.
Man, listen, how you doing? I called weeks ago. I tried to calm you down on all this, so don't try to backtrack now. Because I've been trying to tell you, pump your brakes. You wanted to do Super Bowl, Super Browns.
Mike, what? Because they beat the Raiders? Of course I'm going to do Super Bowl, Super Browns.
No.
Where have you been? How long have you listened to the show? Hold on. How long have you listened to the show, Mike?
About 5 years, 4 or 5 years.
5 years. So you know that we've done Super Bowl, Super Browns in good times and in bad.
Very true. But look, at some point we got to stop being jovial. And
that's called Tuesday.
We got to raise the bar. But anyway, to the point, listen, I just really wish we can finally have a quarterback that's not polarizing and divisive. Like we went through.
People in hell want ice water.
You're right about that. So I'm really just ready to move on. I think I've seen enough. Over 2 seasons at Colorado, a few games, and I'll see more of Shedeur. I think I've seen what he's going to be. He got all the traits of a bad quarterback. I'm not saying he's bad, but, holding the ball too long, taking sacks, not anticipating throws, which is going to lead to turnovers eventually. He got too many traits of what you would call a bad quarterback. Dylan, he's bad too, but at least he's quiet. I don't want to have to deal with the Shedeur fan base. And if I was in that room, I would have told any owner or GM.
Wait a minute. Is he? I think one guy's more quiet than the other. The other one's fan base is way louder, but he doesn't say boo to a goose. Meanwhile, I got Dylan Gabriel. Did Dylan Gabriel, did he or did he not drop the quote about being competitors?
He
did we not just spend a segment talking about a TMZ article about one guy's fiance?
Hold on. It's your show. You get way more time to talk to me. Let me have my little 20 seconds.
You're having it, but I'm telling you what, one guy's been louder than the other guy.
No. I hear that, but even to that point, these people are human. So you can never blame Dylan Gabriel for finally firing back or his girlfriend. These people been attacked, man.
Blame Dylan Gabriel for anything he says. You and I can be blamed for anything we say. Why can't I blame Dylan Gabriel for anything he says? That's not how that works.
Hey, you're right. Do what you want. Your name on the show. But I can't blame them for firing back because these people constantly being bullied online. They getting booed for just coming in the game. They're normal people. Eventually, you're gonna take up for yourself. Eventually. But I'm ready to be done with the whole experiment. Let's do like Cat Williams said. Not have a president for a while. Let's not have a quarterback for a while. Draft Carnell Tate. Draft the lineman because the Browns are so bad that it's not plug and play and get a quarterback and you good.
Then Carnell Tate's gonna be upset. You know how this is gonna go, Mike. What Carnell Tate? You think Carnell Tate's gonna be thrilled just running wind sprints next year? With nobody throwing to him?
Let him be for a year, and then you get a quarterback next year. But we need to move past this garbage. Like, if you want to roll with Sanders next year, I'm cool with that. If you want to roll with Dylan, I'm cool with that. I'm tired of this.
I'm not going to get into a draft discussion now, Mike, but for the love of God, you guys always want to do this.
I'll call you a Mark.
Fine. Call me then, because I'm going to give you the same answer then. I mean, how often do we have all these other pieces of what would be a good football team, but we don't have the main ingredient, and we never learn our lesson about it? You're going to keep taking swings until you actually have it. I'm telling you right now, there are definitely flaws within New England Patriots. You don't see the flaws within the New England Patriots right now. Why? Because the quarterback's good. There are flaws with the Kansas City Chiefs. The thing that keeps the Kansas City Chiefs above water is their quarterback is a Hall of Famer already. Now, I can't just guarantee you're going to go out and draft Patrick Mahomes or Drake May, but you're going to keep taking swings until you do. Or we're going to have another thing where we're going to go, man, Carnell Tate, he's so great. He's so amazing. It's a shame he doesn't have a quarterback. You know who we say that about right now? Myles Garrett. You know who we said about it before? Joe Thomas. We got to learn our lesson. Sorry, I'm not yelling at you, but I was yelling at you. What'd you want to ask me?
So we have definitely seen, after all the talk about practice reps and whatnot with Shedeur, I mean, Kevin Stefanski was in there answering questions yesterday about, his quarterback right now, the current starting quarterback, whether he has a chance to get better and all those things. And I've just seen so much in the way of national conversation still now. Because now, we're seeing Shedeur in games and, some of the flaws are coming out. There have been some good things too. Don't get me wrong. But, like the last caller just said, odds are you're going to draft a quarterback in the first round. Yeah. And then people are going to go after the Browns again, because that is going to be perceived as sabotaging Shedeur's chances. Yeah. When you and I both know that whoever comes in here is not really going to want Shedeur breathing down his neck. Mm-hmm. And so they're probably going to trade Shedeur, right? I mean, what are the odds you think Shedeur is the backup quarterback for a first-round pick next year?
Trade him.
Oh, you think Shedeur would be here if they drafted somebody 5th overall, or if the Browns trade up to number 1 or number 2? You think Shedeur would still be here?
I know.
With that fan base? With that family?
No, I know, but I figured he would just be sent on. I didn't think there'd be a trade.
Oh. What do you mean? Oh, he'd be cut.
Yeah, more than likely.
Whatever.
He'd be made a free agent.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
But free agent? Sure wouldn't be a free agent.
Well, if he were let go, he'd be a free agent.
Oh, so, okay. I didn't understand that
he'd
you
be
thought
made a free agent by being let go. Okay. I don't want to bog it down. Go ahead. Keep saying what you were going to say.
Either way, I am a little surprised at how the whole thing played out. As I think both sides almost, by saying nothing about all the work they were doing to get Shedeur ready, did they kind of make things worse, both of them? Because it built up, the Shedeur army would come after the Browns every day and say, you're doing everything you can to, make sure he's not being put in the best light. And then on the other side of things, I never heard Stefanski talking about all the extra stuff they were doing with Shedeur. How did that help the situation, or did that fan the flames?
So you believe Shedeur should have said something about the extra work he was doing?
I don't know why it was such a secret. Why did it need to be a secret? How did that help the situation?
Well, based on Stefanski ain't going to say anything. Then that's not an excuse for him. I don't know. But do you want to? You're talking about a guy who he had no intention on starting even when he started. So you're not going to talk about players you don't intend to start and open up questions about that guy, especially when the guy's as popular as he is and as famous as he is. So I can understand where Kevin wasn't going to say anything, and he wasn't going to say anything anyway. For Shedeur, did Shedeur really want to come out and say how much extra he was doing and fan the flames against his own teammates? No. Why would he say? Why would he say anything?
Look what it led to. It led to everybody just assuming the worst.
They could speculate all they want, but he knows the truth.
And because the Browns are bad, because they mishandled the draft, taking 2 quarterbacks, I don't care what anybody says.
Okay,
bringing
that's
4
fine.
quarterbacks to camp like they did, and then adding another one.
I'm not fighting you on that.
The whole thing came off as a mess, and it made the Browns look worse. And then it just got everybody to assume that they were going out of their way to make things worse from Shedeur, which made no sense because they weren't. Because behind the scenes, they were working on stuff.
But you wanted
Shedeur admitted it. Later,
basically,
at the end.
I got to tell you, I saw with my very own eyes some of the stuff that they were doing. So I felt good about it, but I wasn't going to say it then. Is this on me?
Wait. You saw what?
I saw a lot of work that there was going on. You walk past, you see things.
So while all these people were saying that the Browns, especially the Shannon Sharps of the world,
and I
the
disagreed with them then.
When they were coming out daily attacking the Browns for the lack of work that Shedeur was getting.
But
Josina Anderson.
I disagreed with her. Anybody who said that he wasn't working on things, I disagreed with. But for Shedeur, I don't know why you wanted him to say it. It would have made things more difficult. If he's doing all this work and we think he's better, why are the Browns holding him back then? Why is Dylan Gabriel playing before him or Joe Flacco or God knows who? He would just create more problems. I mean, good God, I
kind of feel like all those problems were created by them saying nothing.
I don't think they were. I mean, good God, you had people doing hit pieces on Shedeur Sanders just for saying he was confident after beating the Las Vegas Raiders. Can you imagine what would have been said if he was saying, yeah, I'm doing all this extra work and all these other things to get ready for this, and then they were still playing all these, not that he was saying they're playing all these other guys in front of me. I mean, people would have went bonkers. He doesn't want to create problems for his teammates. He, of all people, knows the weight of his own words and how people will take them and run with them.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gone bonkers at all. It would have been like, yeah, they're developing.
You wouldn't have gone
developing
bonkers.
The quarterbacks that are on the roster. That's the job of the coaches to do their best. It's not a developmental league. I mean, there's no doubt, like, you don't have a ton of time, especially with the new rules in the CBA of practices. There's a union rep there.
But Anthony,
they're not going to be allowed to go a half hour late just to help Shedeur.
But
it's
Anthony,
not a charity case.
You're reasonable. You just gave me several examples of unreasonable opinions there. He understands that the weight of unreasonable opinions is going to far outweigh anybody who's trying to be reasonable at all. So he wasn't going to say anything. Plus, it undermines his own teammates' work. He wasn't going to do that. There's been far more people who have had more stronger opinions of Shedeur Sanders than anything Shedeur Sanders has ever said.
It would not have undermined the work if you're like, yeah, he's been on scout team all week, because Patrick Mahomes has talked about him being on scout team that first year in Kansas City, and look at how that turned out. It actually helped the situation.
You just told me about a bunch of people giving unreasonable opinions on what Shedeur Sanders wasn't given an opportunity to do. If he comes out and he says he's given these opportunities to do this extra work and do these other things, I think he knows where he was in the pecking order. He knows it only fans the flames of dissension against his own teammates, against his own staff. He doesn't want to do that. I'm sure he has his own opinions, but he's not going to share them publicly.
His fan base would have been upset that he was on scout team getting the same work that Patrick Mahomes was able to get in Kansas City, that he now has later said, hey, help me out.
His fan base,
big time.
His fan base would have been mad that he wasn't starting ahead of Dylan Gabriel. His fan base would have been upset that he wasn't getting the reps that Dylan Gabriel was getting ahead of Dylan Gabriel. His fan base believes he's better than Dylan Gabriel. Now, I'm not even a part of the fan base. I believe he's better than Dylan Gabriel, and I thought it was a waste of time to begin with. However, I still wouldn't have made that situation better because I just see what I see. I see a guy with a higher ceiling, but I wouldn't have made that situation better, and I think I'm trying to be reasonable.
I just think
it was much better for him to not say anything.
I hear these guys every day say the Browns were sabotaging him, so I don't think that turned out so well.
All right, 216-474-0092. Do you think he handled it right? Do you think he should have said something? Forget about last night. The Cavs won last night. We'll talk more about that later on. We got John Greco at 8. We got you and 5 on the Fan. Peter and Company Jewelers in Avon Lake.
Join today and save 25 cents per gallon on your first fill up and save 5 cents every day. Get member-only offers and stackable fuel savings in the palm of your hand. Find it in your app store. True North stores and True Rewards. Fast, friendly, clean.
In your weeknight with the best segments of the day. The Fan Rewind. Weeknights at 11.
John Greco coming up at 8 o'clock. What's really going on with the Wyatt Teller thing? That was
weird.
A confusing bunch of whatever. I don't know what's going on there. You're going to need something across this offensive line over the next couple of years, and I didn't think that Wyatt Teller was the big problem with the offensive line. But then again, Kevin says he was banged up yesterday. However, Wyatt Teller thought it was performance-based after the game on Sunday. So I want to ask John Greco about that coming up at 8 o'clock. Plus, we have the audio for you coming up after that. And, of course, he was asked about when the practice window is going to open up.
Ooh.
We're going to do that every week.
I said Sunday I was feeling a little drafty. Somebody open up that window?
I'm blocking you on social media. I did. I was shown that tweet.
Shown that tweet.
Because you say these things, and then I get there. What is your boy doing? Come get your boy, Ken. I'm like, I'm not. First off, he's 5 years older than me.
And I'm right there. I'll engage with anybody. Why can't they come after me? Why do they need you to do the work?
Because they think you're a crazy person.
They don't have the confidence.
And they don't want to talk to crazy people.
They don't have that much confidence in going after me themselves.
I did tell somebody this morning. I woke up at 3 a.m. and people were going after me about someone went after T-Moon Pickens. And I says to the guy, I go, let Lima try to work me into the shoot. Let the pros be the pros, brother. Okay? Ain't gonna work. And he's been a loyal listener for a long time. I'm thankful for that.
Like social media, while it can be frustrating and aggravating, and the fight can also be a lot of fun. Can't discount the fact that sometimes it could be fun when you're up there, going through batting practice against guys that really can't handle themselves.
Oh, here we go. This is great.
I do it every day. I'm doing it right now.
You're about to go to the phones right now. So you thought that Shedeur should have said something about the extra work he was getting. And I said there was no win in that. There's no win in him saying anything. The less he said about that stuff while he was the backup of the football team, I think the better. And I think he knew that, and that's why he didn't say much. Because, I mean, good God, we're getting 20-minute long YouTube videos from these grifters about what he said in the post game.
Mm-hmm.
About what he's wrong with quarterbacks today in the NFL and all this other stuff. This John Root. I swear to God, I thought that was a parody account. Well, I don't know what's real anymore.
I still think it might be. I'm not sure. I'm not like, is Colin Rugg.
That is a real person, but is he running the account?
Is Colin Rugg a parody account?
I don't know.
I don't know.
The Nick Adams guy, is that a parody account or not? I don't know if that's real or not. The guy yesterday who tweeted about why Abdul Carter was suspended for the first quarter of the game.
That wasn't real?
I don't think that was real.
I got duped. I thought it was real.
No.
I was like, again? Another meeting?
Abdul Carter has responded to this for the New York Giants. So he was out, at least for the first series yesterday, ended up being basically the whole first quarter.
Say what you want. Say what you want about all the rookies and whatever. Nobody's saying anything about Carson Schlesinger having issues in meetings or on his phone.
No.
On his tablet.
And Mike Kafka could have just said, it's a disciplinary reason or late to a meeting or something. He really didn't. And Abdul Carter has responded on social media now, like, stop slandering my name. And I'm going,
what a mess.
I don't know what's real. I don't know what's not. I have no idea. You know what? As of right now, and you guys can go find that on the internet. I don't really want you to. I'm going to believe Abdul Carter. I'm going to take his word for it
where's
first.
Where's Scadaboo when we need him to cover up for all of this? Things were going well.
They can't get that guy back out on the field soon enough. Tom and Menor, you're first up on the Fan. Hello, Tom.
Hello there, gentlemen. Good morning. Good morning.
Hi.
Hey, listen, I got to go ahead and tell you, I think that in all of this, Shedeur has gone ahead, and again, I'm not a fan of him as a football player, but as an individual, I'll tell you, I think he's just acted with complete class and has played this thing absolutely perfect. And I'll reference this for you. There was a guy, plays in the NFL. His name's Laramie Tunsil. He was going to be the number one or number two overall pick.
Yeah.
Yes. He was going to be the number one or number two pick overall maybe a dozen years ago, whatever it was. And that incident that took place before the draft with the gas mask and this, that, and the other.
I didn't know whether to believe that either.
we saw a lot of video on it, but
when it came.
Yeah, and he felt the tense, and he still got drafted. He's an All-Pro, so on and so forth. Shedeur was going to go and be the number 2 overall pick, maybe number 1. 143 picks later, the Browns draft him at 5. I think we're giving this guy way, way too much credit, unfortunately, to his detriment. And if every one of his people on his team would have gone ahead and said, well, you're just doing that because of his dad. Well, Larry Tunsil still got drafted 10th.
Are you saying, wait a minute, are we giving him too much credit for what he's doing right now with the Browns, are you saying?
I don't know. We're giving him too much credit that, he should have been the number 2 pick or the number 3 pick. He probably was drafted where he should have been drafted. 143 picks, people passed on him. And, again, he's going to be Adam with the Deshaun Kaisers, Adam with the next list of quarterbacks.
Tom, that's a hell of a point, because I brought that up myself. I thought that myself while driving and things like that. And I go, no, because I think he's better than the 3rd-round pick. So, I mean, getting into a fight, you might as well be fighting next to the dumpsters with me and Owen if we're talking about 3rd and 5th round picks. But I'm going, well, if I think he's better than the 3rd round pick, then I think he should have been at least 3rd round.
Did they draft the 3rd round pick correctly?
Yeah, that's another good point that Owen brought up.
Is this all screwed up?
Either way, we're talking about the fact that he's not even going to be here next year because they're going to draft a number 1. And yes, I agree. It's because that's why we didn't re-sign Flacco, because we didn't want that hanging over his head.
Well,
and I agree. That's why Shedeur won't be here.
Well, listen, and Tom, thank you for the call. I said this to you yesterday, and I said this to you guys yesterday in the meeting, is all these people, they want Shedeur to blossom, but they also want Kevin fired. And my thought is, if you fire Kevin, he's gone. He's gone. And that might be what you want in the beginning, but fine. You might just want him away from the Browns.
Yeah, who would, other than Deion Sanders as the next head coach, can you tell me a coach who would come into Cleveland and have an open mind about Shedeur?
I don't think they would. I think they would just move on.
You know what the fan base is going to call them the minute things go south. They're all seeing Kevin Stefanski's integrity has been impugned.
They're going to blame him
because of this.
And I think I cannot find, there's some good things in there, but I'm not finding the people who are saying that this is a transcendent quarterback. And if they can't say that he's a transcendent quarterback, then to anybody who's new coming in, and they're going to throw their trust into whoever's new here. That's what the ownership is going to do. They're not going to want to risk anything with him, so they're going to move on. That's what they're going to do. So you guys can hate Kevin all you want, and Kevin's made some serious mistakes. Sunday was abysmal. But they need each other. In so many ways, they need him. They need each other. 216-474-0092. John Greco, we need him. What really happens on the sidelines in those arguments between a wide receiver and a quarterback where an offensive lineman has to step in between things and get in the way there? Also, the neutral zone with Rat Boy and the Hog at 8:45 on the Fan.
You imagine if you are in
all the best segments from all our shows, you can always listen on the Odyssey app. Headline Sports News every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Catch Afternoon Drive with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin live on YouTube each and every weekday from 2 to 7 p.m.
Rat Boy and the Hog, 8:45. This man, not a hog. He's svelte. Good shape. Much better than me. John Greco, he joins us right now. Former Browns guard, current analyst. Hello, John.
That's debatable, but good morning, Ken.
No, you look good. Give yourself credit. For the love of God. Good-looking man. What really happens on a sideline spat, like with Jerry Jeudy and Shedeur Sanders? Because I'm going, all right, that is football. And then Ethan Postic gets up, and I go, okay, it was failing to be... It was failing to be something that works, and now it was just getting silly, is my take from it. When an offensive lineman has to go, all right, that's enough, then it's like, all right, this isn't going to help. It's going to hurt, and I think that's kind of where it went.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Those things happen, I don't want to say routinely, but more often than you would think. And I think, with Shedeur Sanders just being constantly on camera and you're really paying attention and following him at all times, you're picking up on that. And then when, the Browns are in the situation they are, Jerry Jeudy's has been having the season that he's having, a spat like that is going to be a headline, as it should be. But those things happen a lot, and tempers flare on the sidelines for a variety of reasons, and guys get, passionate, and, adrenaline's flowing, and if something's not going your way, a normal routine discussion can turn into a heated one because you're both trying to win, or the guys in the process are trying to win. So cooler heads usually prevail. Somebody breaks it up and it's just like, hey, look, you guys sound ridiculous. Let's just pause this. And that's the best thing that can happen in those situations. So yeah, when Ethan did that, I was like, okay, I've seen that a million times. I've been on the end of those where guys are yelling at me, I'm yelling at guys. It happens like after the game, they usually just kind of, shake hands and you're like, hey, that's on me. But it's a non-issue. But yeah, I think, just frustrations are starting to boil over, and you're seeing that on the sidelines a little bit, but I wasn't reading into it too much.
That is interesting, right? Because as fans and in the social media age, we only have so much that we're privy to. And it's so funny. If the cameras don't catch that at all, we never find out about it. Most likely doesn't get elevated to a point we talk about. But because, on the CBS broadcast, they showed even a frame of it, it just led everybody to think immediately there's internal strife. Jeudy, because of the preconceived notions, which is he just hasn't been good. He's having an abysmal year. He's dropping everything again for the second straight year, and now he's not even really showing the big play potential. So people are not going to side with him no matter what. And you're right. To me, I dismissed it as it's normal. Guys on the sideline last year, wasn't it? Or over the last 2 years, didn't Travis Kelce literally get physical with the head coach? Do we think they despise each other? No. So I didn't think it was as big of a deal at all, John.
Yeah, I'm with you. And, you made a lot of great points and kind of echoed some of the things I said. And, you look at Philadelphia with Jalen Hurts and Brown and a lot of the things that go on with, these people are trying to read body language and read lips. And you're right, in the social media age, one clip shows up, you see it a million different ways broken down online and what people are speculating is going on. Now maybe there is an internal spat, and with me not being in the locker room and having access to that anymore, I can't confirm nor deny that. But and that's the fun part about being on the outside and thinking about what's happening. But I just can assure you guys that the 90% of the time, maybe even higher, when those things would happen on the sidelines, they were routine. They were because things aren't going the way everybody wants, and disagreements happen. Who knows who was right? Who knows who was wrong? Who knows who's just having a bad moment and has to cool down? But if they catch it on camera, we're going to talk about it, and that's the fun part about it. But, yeah, I think it's kind of a routine thing. I'm sure those guys hash it out after the game, and they're ready to move on and try to beat the Titans.
Well, John, going even after some of the people that are hearing some of the people that we trust with tape, they are seeing Jerry Jeudy open a lot, and he's not hitting them. So they might be a little bit valid in his criticism, because it's like, well, I think Jerry Jeudy knows he's having a bad season, and these are opportunities for him, and I think he's frustrated. However, let me ask you this. Why do you think that Shedeur may be missing Jerry Jeudy? What's going on in these plays?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think inconsistency all around, and either Jerry Jeudy is commanding multiple bodies defensively, and they're one way or another. I don't want to say they're double covering him every play, but if they're leaning, if you're in the opposing defensive room getting ready to play the Browns, the game plan is, look, let's pressure the quarterback, this young quarterback. Let's try to confuse him. They have a beat up offensive line. Let's try to get some pressure and win our one-on-one matchups. And let's take Jerry Jeudy out of it, try to control the tight ends, and stop the run. Notice what I didn't mention, any other wide receivers. So it could be a mixture of multiple defensive bodies being schemed up to be around Jerry Jeudy, and Shedeur's looking at him if he's his first read and he's just not available. And then, as a young quarterback, could be already, moving on to a second progression. Or he's trying to, what we've seen Shedeur do, hold on to the ball a little bit longer to try to create a play and get a big play down the field like he did against Las Vegas, and like what has excited the fan base about his potential. But, with that comes, pressure and sacks. So it's tough to say without, breaking down the wide copy of the tape and looking at the routes and what's going on, other than what I could see on the tape. So either it's he's not open due to coverage or just not winning his one-on-one matchup, or he is and the ball isn't accurate, or he is and Shedeur's already not looking at him in the progression, or just not delivering him the football. So it's a variety of things, and that's what happens when the offense isn't just clicking. Guys are open, the quarterback's not throwing it to him. Guys are open, the quarterback's under pressure. Guys are open, the ball's over his head or in the dirt. And there's just so many things going into this season that it's so hard to blame one thing. I know everybody's there's the fan base is so fractured right now, unfortunately, and it sucks. It seems like instead of focusing the hatred internally, fans are almost like, well, it's not Shedeur's problem, it's this guy's problem, and it's Stefanski's problem, or it's the receivers, it's the O-line. Everyone's blaming all these different fractured pieces of this offense when the reality is it's the sum of the total, and the offense is just bad, and the special teams is horrible. The offense is bad because of this play. Maybe the offensive line didn't protect or open enough holes, or guys are dropping the football or not getting open, or their ball's not in the right spot. So it's just an ugly thing right now, guys, and we could sit here and dissect everything, but the Jerry Jeudy connection hasn't been there. And to your points that we've been saying, he's either dropping the football, the ball's not there, he's not open. And it's unfortunate to see.
John Greco with us. You can answer this better than I could from the naked eye. I thought the offensive line was really good in the first half. Was I right, or am I off on that?
No, and to be honest with you, we talked about it. I thought they played one of their better games against the Raiders, and they continued that momentum into the first half Sunday against the 49ers. I agree with you. They for the most part, they were protecting, and they can't protect a moving pocket for 5, 6, 7 seconds. It's just not reality, and quarterbacks know that when they kind of bail. They know they're on their own, and that's okay because that's how big plays happen, good or bad. But I agree with you. I thought in a lot of the run game they were finishing and moving the line of scrimmage. I saw the tackles kind of on those back. I always look at like small nuances, and you see them, and they kind of fall under the radar, and nobody will ever talk about them or think about them again. But there are small things that I'm seeing that those guys haven't given up, and it's right now, unfortunately, it's like musical chairs with different bodies in there and injuries, and obviously Wyatt Teller being out due to the calf this Sunday, there's going to be different bodies in there on the interior. So those guys just have to continue to work together. But, something happened at halftime where either Robert Saleh made the necessary adjustments, but it didn't look the same in the second half. But I'm with you. I completely agree about the first half.
Why are we playing, John Greco joining us on the show, why are we playing musical offensive linemen with rookies playing quarterback? I got to look at the Wyatt Teller situation. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, well, I saw the play where he kind of grabbed at the back of his leg, his calf, and obviously they said that he has an injury there. Why he was, kind of in and out, I don't know if that was a strategy to where they were trying to keep him healthy. I don't know. I've seen goofy things like that where they've rotated guys due to health concerns, but it's tough to say, guys. And Jack Conklin being evaluated for concussion again. He just hasn't seemed to be able to stay healthy. So you've had a different number of guys each week, and we're talking about in September to now, we're talking about third, fourth, and fifth string tackles, and we're hoping that one of them that's questionable is able to play. So that's the state of the union for the offensive line right now. And those guys I think have done a decent job given the situation and all the surrounding elements of multiple rookie quarterbacks, different quarterbacks working with them from the beginning of the season, different people in that room and on Sundays and at the practices each week, and trying to now get the backups ready to go if they have to go in. So there's a lot going on, and I'm not trying to make excuses for them, but that's just the reality that we're living in right now.
So Myles Garrett's season, every week, it feels like we have to try to talk about it in a way that is more interesting than the week before. But, he looks like he's going to be on cruise control getting to this all-time sack record. And I've been asking about, is this the best season in Browns history from an individual player? And I feel like he's just not going to get the due because of the record.
I agree with you that it doesn't feel as exciting. Maybe it's just me. Myles is such a he's arguably one of the best defensive players to ever play. And they're talking about, when you're talking about Lawrence Taylor, Michael Strahan, obviously with the record, and Reggie White, when you're putting a guy's name in that company, you really don't appreciate it when you're talking about it. At least I don't. I know what kind of player Myles is. I practiced against the guy, and he's a total nightmare to prepare for at any position. And we've seen that. We've seen him wreck games. And throughout this season, it's just so hard because of, I look through the lens offensively, during these games, because I played on that side of the ball. And I think the most frustrating part is we all see and know that this defense is championship ready. And, it's there. And we're watching it. And we're like, my God, are we going to be able to, replicate this and have the patience to where the offense can at least catch up and win games? Now, I don't know. But getting back to Myles, it's happening. He beat Trent Williams on that move inside when Trent Williams knew he had outside help. George Kittle was coming over. I think it was Kittle. It was one of the tight ends. Kind of motioning over to Chip. And Myles saw that, and Trent should know that, and he did. But he still has to respect that because Myles gets 2-3 guys hitting him, and he still beats these tackles. So Trent, gets nervous, tries to bail out, and he was in good position and took good footwork. But Myles is just such a great athlete and covers so much area and space, and he's so big, and it's impossible. He makes the best tackles. One of the best tackles that's ever played that position looks silly at times. And if you interviewed any left tackle, right tackle, guys that block him inside, they're going to say the same thing. It's just hold on to your rear end and hope that you get some hands on him. But he's having a terrific season. That's one good thing about, Browns fans can have fun watching him as he chases that record. But yeah, it's been exciting.
John, we thank you very much for the time. We'll talk to you after the Tennessee game coming up next week.
Guys, I'm excited for it.
John Greco on the Fan Hotline. You don't believe he's excited?
No, I don't.
Well, then why didn't you say I should have brought him back on?
He was so definitive, too.
Coming up at 8:45, the Neutral Zone with Rat Boy and the Hog. Coming up next, we're getting some mixed signals between the coach and the player. It's coming up on the Fan.
Company Jewelers in Avon Lake today. Discover stunning engagement rings and guidance from the jewelers where Cleveland gets engaged. Visit peterjewelers.com today. Listen to 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn app.
Neutral Zone, Rat Boy and the Hog, 8:45. I'm the Hog, he's Rat Boy. That's how it works. Just had John Greco on the show.
Sometimes we role play, and then you don't know.
Have you ever role played?
Kenny, we're going to leave.
Wow.
What happens in the bedroom in the bedroom.
Oh.
And I was wondering, what could that possibly be?
Well, I didn't say with your wife.
And on the
I wasn't
OnlyFans
asking
account.
that, yeah.
And I was wondering, what could that possibly be?
We're going to go over the Abdul Carter thing again coming up in Rat Boy and the Hog.
That's what this
Speaking
was,
of.
yeah.
All right. We just had John Greco on asking him about the Wyatt Teller situation. I'm not laughing at the Wyatt Teller situation. Excuse me. Asked about the Wyatt Teller situation is rather bizarre. Your offensive line right now is a mess, right? In so many ways. A mess, Owen? Yes.
Just in terms of because
you're just nodding your head.
Well, I agreed. I agreed with John Greco last segment.
Yeah,
this is the best the offensive line has played all year. The last 2 games.
Well, yeah, and now we're playing musical offensive linemen, and it's like, well, we got to get a look for next year. And I'm going, I don't know. I didn't think that Tevin Jenkins was part of the future, to be honest with you. Zach Zinter doesn't seem to be part of the present or the future. I don't know what
past, present,
guys,
or future.
I have no idea what's going on there. That is a second rounder, and he isn't even active. I'm not even going to speculate. I have no idea. Like if we're going to start getting some guys ready for next year, I thought that maybe, and it's a terrible example, but it's like, okay, what you have is probably better than what's in free agency. Do you do a Jack Conklin sort of thing with Wyatt Teller? Like I assume that we are in the final 5 games of Joel Bitonio's career. Ethan Posick, I think, is up. Luke Whippler, you still have, right? So you could work him. And I know he worked in yesterday or on Sunday because of some injury. But it's rather bizarre where, a lot of people thought it was performance-based. I believe Wyatt might have said something. Kevin Stefanski was asked about the injuries yesterday, and he does list Wyatt Teller amongst it.
Malik Collins has a quad injury that will require surgery, so he will be out for the season. Dylan Sampson has a calf injury, so he's day-to-day. Jack Conklin remains in concussion protocol. Wyatt Teller has a calf injury. I'd call it week-to-week, so we'll see how those guys come out of it in the next few days.
Yeah, but then he was talking about them rotating a guard, and I believe that Tevin Jenkins is already going to be playing guard coming up this Sunday.
Obviously, with decisions like that, I always make sure I talk to our players and let them know what I'm thinking. I felt like it would help Wyatt play better, and obviously I think Tevin's deserving of some plays, and I thought both guys played really well yesterday.
Well, you're not going to move Joel. You're going to work in Tevin. Okay. I mean, at this point, I know some people just throw up their hands and go, well, who cares at this point? Why? I want to be able to protect my quarterback. Like it got brought up, with the play calling and with the, which, by the way, do people know that Kevin Stefanski is not the play caller of this football team? Can we make this abundantly clear? Are there people who are saying that Kevin is still the play caller of this football team?
Yes.
Okay.
I am hearing it all over town and on social media.
Tommy Reese or Reese, depending on what side of Cleveland you're on. They will say that you guys don't know that he's calling the plays, right? He's the one calling the plays. Tommy's calling the plays.
That's what Kevin told us in the press conference.
He didn't get the UCLA job either, so he's going to be calling plays on Sunday.
Like, I have definitely heard people going after the play calls, but
they're saying Kevin.
The 4th and 1, and they're going after Stefanski.
Well, that one, hold on. That one, I mean, he says he has the final jurisdiction on all that. I mean, a head coach would make the decision to go for it on 4th and 1. So that's fine. But when we're talking about
the
play calling in general, which, guys, I think that am I crazy? I think he's been taken care of. I think that they have done their very best to take care of Shedeur Sanders, and I think that at least in the first half, things got figured out as good as they can. That's why I'm a little bit perturbed about the offensive line stuff, because it's like, well, you guys want him to roast the ball over the middle, but also you guys got different offensive linemen going in who are either inexperienced, not very good, or rusty.
No, the criticism is that the governor is on the offense right now.
How could it not be?
The fans want to see Shedeur be optimized. They want to see him look like the confident quarterback in college in Boulder running around making plays. They want to see that. They don't want to see screen,
so they believe
screen.
He threw a lot of screens in college.
He did.
He threw deep balls, but there was not very much intermediate. It was deep balls and screens.
It's also college.
Okay, but you wanted him to be like you wanted him to be like in college. Well, that's more like in college.
I
took a couple of deep shots, threw a lot of short passes. That's Colorado.
Now they could it could be Jackson Dart, and if you're watching Jackson Dart, they are letting him play like Baker Mayfield. They are letting him fling the ball down the field, regardless of who's
Jackson
out
Dart
there.
was a first-round pick. Jackson Dart had all the almost all the first-team reps you could possibly get. Come on. We're going to do this again. Now I'm going to lose my patience. There's clearly a difference in what we all think and what they think, what the NFL thinks. So, they're going to let Jackson Dart rip because he's their biggest investment.
And he is their guy. He is their quarterback next year.
Which there's a lot of people saying he played that way when he was at Ole Miss, and there's a lot of people saying they need to change that because that's not going to be sustainable in the NFL. Am I wrong? Mm-hmm. So that's been brought up. So we can't do anything to help out Shedeur Sanders. We just have to go ahead and let him throw the ball all over the place, and whatever happens, happens.
Well, and I will say, in either Tommy or Stefanski's defense, we all saw what the weather was on Sunday, and you saw when Shedeur chucked it deep that second time, it was a duck in the air. It was
40-mile-an-hour winds out there.
And I didn't criticize him for it. That's just, I know Trent Green had brought it up, like how to be able to push the ball through those elements. This is the first time Shedeur, there's weather in Boulder, but their seasons are over, way before they are in the NFL. Like you're about to get, and this Sunday again, I mean, you saw the weather. It says 40% chance of snow, and it's going to be, I'll just guarantee it's going to be gusty.
Off the top of my head, the Browns tried 3 deep shots, hit on one, 34 yards.
Yeah.
How many deep shots did San Francisco take? They hit the one to George
just
Kittle.
Right before the half.
Okay, right before the half, and that was it, right?
Yeah, they were keeping everything moderate, mid-range. That is a big part of the 49er offense too.
This is...
But to your point...
I don't agree with moving offensive linemen around if we're trying to make sure our quarterback's upright.
Well, so the only thing I could think about is there was a question on whether or not it was injury with Wyatt Teller or play, his caliber of play. And I think the way that Stefanski kind of explained it was, or was thinking of it was, if he's injured, it's going to impact his level of play. So when people are like, "Oh, did he get benched?" Well,
now we're giving Stefanski the benefit of the doubt.
If you're not, if a guy like Wyatt at his age already banged up, what do you think?
Okay,
can he play even close?
Wyatt was asked Sunday after the game in the locker room about the rotating with Tevin Jenkins. He was asked, or he said that the coaches told him earlier in the week. Here's the full clip.
Probably along the lines of not playing well enough. I mean, I feel like that's obvious, but yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff that, as a personal player, I need to improve on.
And now add to the fact that he's banged up.
So did he get injured? Because he wasn't on the injured list throughout the week.
Not that I saw.
Okay, but now he wasn't on the report throughout the week, and then...
Correct.
Okay,
and John said there was a play in the fourth quarter where looked like he grabbed his calf.
Yes.
He's listed as... At first, Stefanski said week to week, and then later on he said he's out this week when he talked about him specifically.
So we're going to see all Tevin Jenkins.
I guess it's the Tevin Jenkins show, yeah.
All right, and if that's the case, Shedeur fans, are you sure you want him roasting the ball down the field? As the great Ken Carman would say, in the elements
I'm never saying it again. No, I know what you did right there. I know what you're saying, and I'm not saying it again.
No, don't do that. That was not
I know what you mean by that. I know what you mean by that.
I like that term. I like that term.
Sure you do. Sure you do. How many times have you texted Keith and Zach Jackson?
I have not. I swear to God.
Sure you haven't.
A little comment you made right there is disgusting.
But Shedeur fans, do you want your guy to be chucking it all over if it's going to be, again, snow, gusty winds, at the stadium, and now who is playing offensive line for you?
Ferguson Jenkins.
Leroy Jenkins.
Leroy, damn you, you bastard.
It is hard. And this is not Shador's. This 100%. This is not Dylan Gabriel's fault. It's not Shador's fault. We knew the offensive line this year.
Skipper Jenkins.
Was going to finally. This was going to be the end of what seemingly has been a decade run of good offensive line play, or like 8 years.
Late ESPN play-by-play announcer Bob Jenkins.
I remember Bob Jenkins.
Very, very good on ESPN with doing
Jenkins,
motorsports.
the columnist and golf writer.
That's right. You got a Jenkins in there?
I'll pass.
Come on. Fine. Nick.
The little comment you made right there is disgusting.
Rayshawn Jenkins. Nick on the road. You're next up on the Fan. Hello.
There's no other Jenkins besides Leroy Jenkins, by the way. You guys already said it. So that's 1,000% who's playing right guard. And at the end of the day, guys, this is why you make midseason firings. You always hear like, oh, you can't fire a coach in the middle of the season. What good does it do? Well, let me ask you this. If Dylan didn't get a concussion, would he still be playing? Because I'm pretty certain he would be. And now you have this shuffle at offensive line. All right?
Okay.
The guy just doesn't do as much good as he does bad. He continues to lose this team games. Like, again, whose call is it to have Ventrone on the staff? That's Kevin's call. Whose call is to go for it in a 2-point game?
Nick.
With
You
7.5
remember?
minutes
Hold
to go.
on. Let me ask you this. I got point counterpoint here, okay? You remember Alex Van Pelt?
Sure.
Are we sure it was Kevin's decision to remove Alex Van Pelt? We don't know what it's not an excuse. He's the head coach, okay? And his record is 6-25. This isn't a reason to go, oh my God. We don't know who's in charge of what. I think that's part of the reason why we're all frustrated and really mad right now.
That's fair. I mean, at the end of the day, you are what your record is. You mentioned it yourself, 6-25. But, I mean, for me, the 4th and 1 call from your own 33 on Sunday was a microcosm of everything that is just backwards.
Not being ready. I mean, I'm fine with going for it. You're 3-8, and I know it's only a 2-point game. You can come after me over that, but not being ready for it's abysmal. Not being ready for it's awful.
Right. The 11th guy comes onto the field late. Yeah. You rush out of the huddle.
Yeah.
And you run a trick play on your own 33 against a team that is better than you. Yeah. With your defense playing incredibly well.
And Nick, I wish I could keep you longer. I got to let you go, but I'll tell you this, and thank you very much for the call. Is that the other thing is that Harold Fannin felt that he was the one who needed to call the timeout there. The rookie.
Yeah.
Tight end. The rookie tight end. Hey, excuse me, Brad Allen. Hell, I can't do this. Oh, okay. All right. See, that's things you're supposed to be in charge of. We don't know if you're in charge, and that, I think, is a major problem to the fan base. And rightfully so. The fan base should be mad about that.
What was Tommy upstairs? What was downstairs on the sidelines, the head coach? What were they thinking when they saw the substitution late, the play clock ticking?
They were thinking, boy, I can't wait to hear Rat Boy and the Hog at Tuesday at 8:45 on the Fan. Extend Technologies in Broadview Heights. XTENDAV.com. I want you to go to that website right now. XTENDAV.com, because then you can see what they have for you, where if you spend $2,000 between now and December 31st, your purchase could be absolutely free if it snows 8 inches or more on Sunday, February 8th, 2026. I want you to go to the website. They have it all there for you. They have everything there for you that you could possibly read to make sure everything's there, because it's fantastic. That means it could be absolutely, positively free if it snows 8 inches or more coming up on February 8th, 2026, right here in Cleveland. So you seeing the snowfall now? My goodness gracious, we're getting close. Could it be possible that they can get it all for free, Tony?
For 24 hours a day Christmas music, switch to our sister station, Star 102 at 102.1 FM.
Simply have a holly jolly Christmas.
Or stream live on Odyssey, iHeart, or TuneIn. Whenever you need to talk about the Browns, we got you covered. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan. It's time for the Neutral Zone with Rat Boy and the Hawk. Crank it up and rip off the knob.
Rat Boy and Hog, good to see you guys once again. We are through week 14 of the NFL season, and last night with the Patriots beating the Giants 33-15, a tough night for New York, especially Jackson Dart, who was sacked twice and took a huge hit later on in the contest. But this is not changing the rookie quarterback's approach to taking big hits, as he said last night in the postgame.
I understand the question, but this is football. I'm going to get hit if I'm in the pocket or outside the pocket. I feel like I've played this way my whole entire life. There shouldn't be any shocker to anybody if you've followed along with my career. I'm not playing soccer out here. You're going to get hit, things happen, it's part of the game.
It's a prideful approach, but is it a smart one for the young QB?
No.
Why taking shots at soccer?
It's not.
What are you taking shots at soccer for?
He is awesome to watch, though.
Now, there was a time I would have been taking shots at soccer, but once I went to the University of Akron and I met the great Caleb Porter.
Aren't they in the Elite Eight?
I changed my ways. Yeah, hell yeah.
They beat Notre Dame?
Yes. Embrick is their coach now.
The Zips.
Yeah. Would they beat Duke?
Duke. I think they beat Duke.
Take that. You think you're better than me? You think you're better than us?
Why
Duke?
would I confuse Notre Dame?
I told you that time
I went to Notre Dame as well.
I told you I went to that university that one time. I was on that campus and they all were looking at me like, you don't belong here. And I was like, where's Shefskyville?
Notre Dame or Akron or all three?
No, Notre Dame was very inviting.
Well,
they
snuck
were
in on a
so
Sunday afternoon.
Hospitable. No, I went to a football game at Notre Dame.
Hung out in their bathroom.
They were so hospitable. Lima went number two, and their library bathroom was chuckling the whole time while I was going to the bathroom. They're hospitable. The people at Duke, they were looking at me. They did not want me there.
They beat Notre Dame. They beat Duke. Elite Eight matchup December 6th, St. Louis, 1 p.m. Saturday. Let's go. Anyway, I love watching Jackson Dart play. I don't think it's sustainable. He is just running around like a lunatic, and he thinks he's Josh Allen sized, but he's not. He's more Shedeur Sanders sized. So I don't think that's going to last for him, but you could see, we talked about Shedeur doing just enough. I think Jackson's done a little more than that. But again, this is a really tough ask. Plus, he lost Malik Neighbors. He lost Scadaboo. And
lost head coach.
And the head coach. Maybe that's a good thing. And Abdul Carter is looking at what on his tablet? I don't know.
You don't know
it was
that,
the coach's
man.
decision.
You don't know that.
The interim coach's decision.
You don't know that.
Speaking of coaches.
Hold on, man. You gotta.
Come on. No, the coach decided that you can't watch that in film session.
Reckless speculation.
Did he not like the search queries?
Put your safety on. Put your safety on. Put your safety on. Turn that off right now. Turn it off right now. Turn it off right now.
Sometimes the games get boring and the meetings get boring.
Randy Buffington was in the film room.
Move on,
Mitch. All right. Speaking of coaches, this is audio from Sir Simon 43 on X. This is from the Steelers' loss to the Buffalo Bills on Sunday late afternoon. It's so funny to see where the standards are between the Browns and the Steelers right now. We both want our head coaches fired, but things are heating up in Pittsburgh, and they're atop the AFC North right now.
The Inzer accent is even there in the chance. Tomlin. It's right in there. Would you take him if we fired Stefanski?
I would. I would in a heartbeat.
216-474-0092.
Would you chant hire Tomlin?
I would, in a Cleveland accent, very nasally, very Norwegian. Look, there's no doubt he's not a perfect coach, and no, he hasn't won a playoff game in forever. He also hasn't had a quarterback in forever, and that includes the last 4 years of Big Ben. So he has his faults too. But you want to talk about a floor raiser? We'd be done talking tanking and draft picks. We would be talking about vying for the playoffs every year, and that's what fans want right now, right? That is what fans want.
Yeah.
And who is your owner again, and where was he previously before taking over controlling interest of the Browns? There's a relationship
David
there.
Tepper
and
in Carolina.
And do we have draft picks to trade? Yes, we do.
Wasn't it David Tepper? I thought he was.
I think he was
okay,
too.
Good. Okay.
We have draft picks to trade, so I think he'd be great in TV for a year. But
Mike Tomlin?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he'd be terrible on those panels. I think he would be. Maybe he'd be good. I don't know. It is with a bunch of football guys.
Very quotable.
Yeah, he is. But he talks.
Think about the
as
shots,
a long-winded person.
The shots he did take about the Joe Flacco situation.
But remember his opening statements are like 15 minutes long.
Yeah.
He takes out the air because he don't want to answer questions.
True.
So he answers them all before you even ask. Not that matters on, as the head coach of the Browns. I was just asking the Browns.
The prevailing wisdom is going to be, no, you're going to draft a rookie quarterback. You want an offensive mind. I think there's a lot of guys that can run offenses.
Just because you have an offensive mind, you have an offensive mind.
I know. They're going to want the next one.
All right. I don't know if you guys paid much attention to the Titans' loss to the Jaguars on Sunday, but there was this clip from the running back for the Titans in Chestnut. He talked about this exchange he had with the punter for the Jaguars, Logan Cook.
I don't really know why the punter did that. Honestly, I was just trying to play hard, and he came up to me, said he was going to kill me. So I don't know what made him do that. I don't think it was any frustration. I think it was just us playing hard, and me and the other guy was just playing hard, and I think he just wanted something to say. Honestly, I have no idea.
Do you know what's even more shocking than someone come up to you and saying they're going to kill you? The Jaguars are tied atop the AFC South now at 8-4.
And we own their pick.
That's not as shocking as someone coming up to you and saying they're going to kill you, Mitch.
I think it's just as shocking considering where we thought the Jaguars were.
It's not.
I think their pick is the 26th. I'll say this.
Are you ready, Ken? They've got the 26th pick.
This will be.
I'm going to kill you.
This will be.
Which one shocked you more?
The way you delivered that's not shocking.
You've told me you were going to kill me many times.
That's true.
This will be maybe unpopular. I think guys should be able to say whatever they want on a football field because
Liam Cohen didn't care. It's coach.
They get to defend themselves. They get to actually get physical
Unless
if they want.
hide behind their offensive line.
I don't. I am totally fine with trash talk to the nth degree. This is entertainment. This is not church. This isn't high school. I am totally fine. I don't care if they're bad influences on young football players in America. Let them do whatever they want. They already do. They already trash talk. Liam Cohen is like, I hear that 100 times a game. So let guys trash talk. Doesn't bother me.
I think you would, but they don't get the chance to physically assault each other and
they
defend
get to
themselves
hit each other.
In a football sense, but not like.
Yeah, I don't think they really mean I'm going to kill you. I think they mean
you don't know what that guy means.
You're cool with the last Boy Scout happening.
That was taken a little too far. Right. There's no doubt. You might need
Movie's
to
not good.
Have some oversight on that.
Said it.
You're nuts.
Meant it.
That's the third best Die Hard movie, and you know it.
Not a good
little
movie.
comment you made right there is disgusting. And
Did you see Lawnmower Man?
That's not good.
Okay.
Continue.
I don't think you should be able to take a lawnmower out there, but trash talk, fine.
We're gonna end the neutral zone with some movie talk here with Rat Boy and the Hog.
I never saw Lawnmower Man. I never saw Lawnmower Man.
It's not exactly based in reality.
Oh, okay. What happens in Lawnmower Man?
There's some crazy stuff that goes on with the lawnmower.
Does he just kill people with lawnmowers? Is that what that is?
It's not as good as the lawnmower scene in Mad Men. Talk about Christmas
I can't
festivities.
wait to see in HD.
I'll have to explain that to him at some point, Owen.
Oh, that's good stuff. All right. Can I just fight you about the one thing you just said about Mike Tomlin there? Because if Pittsburgh fans are going to be in our situation, or we're going to be in Pittsburgh fans' situations here in a second, you're already making a terrible mistake. I need to correct you on a very terrible mistake in 5 minutes on the Fan Tone.
Anthony Lima for QC Kinetics. I'll tell you,
thefan.com or favorite 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey app for all today's headline segments. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
When you want the latest on the Cavs, we're the station you turn to first. 92.3 The Fan is Cleveland's home for breaking sports news. Your teams, your station.
The Lawnmower Man suffers from a predictable melodramatic script, and its once groundbreaking visual effects look dated today. That according to Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay, Gone with the Wind had some special effects that don't really hold up today. Gone with the Wind have some special effects that maybe
I gotta tell you, I've never seen Gone with the Wind.
Oh, the musical score.
I've never seen Gone with the Wind.
They didn't force you to watch that in school?
No. I've seen
That's
a
the
lot.
only way I've seen it.
I've seen a lot of movies. I've never seen Gone with the Wind. Or The Lawnmower Man, for that matter.
We also watched The Lawnmower Man.
I want to play a clip. I'm going to play a clip with Tone during Rat Boy and the Hog here, the neutral zone with the Rat Boy and the Hog. I don't know if we're going to really vehemently disagree about this. We're going to disagree about something else. So, but go ahead and hit it.
The prevailing wisdom is going to be, no, you're going to draft a rookie quarterback. You want an offensive mind. I think there's a lot of guys that can run offenses.
Just because you have an offensive mind, you have an offensive mind.
I know. They're going to want the next one.
Are you going to end up being right about that?
What do you mean?
What percentage are we that Kevin Stefanski won't be here at the end of the year?
I think he's gone.
Okay, so I would probably agree. So I don't like to say it, but probably. We just have to go with another offensive guy?
No, I don't think we do.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure you're not. We need a leader, man. We need this whole thing. It ain't over. Just because what's his name is with baseball now again doesn't mean this whole thing is over. You guys want to get this thing going, you guys got to find leadership. You got to find leadership. I'm going to tell you guys right now, the guys who are on the list.
He's got the list, folks.
I got the list out in the envelope. These are leaders.
The self-addressed stamped
These
envelope.
are men I believe that are leaders. Okay? That's who we need. I don't need any more. We need, and by the way, that doesn't mean they're not thinkers. All right? Dan Campbell's a psycho. Dan Campbell thinks. Mike Vrabel's a psycho. Mike Vrabel thinks. It's not just cartoon character football coaches anymore, man. I'm not looking for Frank Kush to go out there and just pound everybody's face in and call that football. That's not what I'm asking for. But you need leaders. You need guys that people respect wholeheartedly, because we're 6 years in, and I don't even know what the effing head coach is responsible for. I don't know what he's responsible for. And by the way, I asked the same questions about the other guy I just said is in baseball again. So what's that tell you? I got to have somebody I know, this is what you're supposed to be responsible for. Because when you got Harold Fannin saying, yeah, I should have called a timeout. No, you shouldn't.
No.
You're the rookie tight end. You shouldn't be calling timeouts on 4th and 1 calls. You could go out there, and when you see somebody out there, I'd rather you just take the delay of game.
Which, by
because
the way,
it would have been a better thing than what had happened.
Could we have thrown a challenge flag on that they didn't get it off in time? Either way,
it doesn't matter.
It
does.
It was really bad in a season of bad for Stefanski. It was really bad that he didn't do it there and did not call timeout, because he should have been able to see the play clock that this wasn't going to happen. And if it did happen, it was going to be a disaster.
That's what I'm saying. And if we don't know what each other's responsible for and who's calling what and who's deciding who, I mean, again, I go back to Nick in a car who had just called in, and I know that hopefully the roads are getting a little bit better out there for everybody. I know it was tough on Nick and a lot of other people this morning. But when you got Nick in a car and he's bringing up, Bubba Ventrone, and I had to say, I go, well, and it's not that I know for a fact I don't, but I had to ask Nick in a car going, do we know that it's his call to fire Bubba Ventrone? Do we know it's his decision? Because it seems to all of us that it was not his decision to let go of Alex Van Pelt. So maybe he's gained power in that sense, but we know he's lost power in other sense. I mean, it's insane. And if we're just gonna go back to an offensive mind and that's it, it can be a good offensive guy. But damn it, the guy's got to be respected. He's got to be tough. He's got to be a leader. He's got to be all these things that they've been saying they want to do for the last 26 years and they haven't done. The new age football coach, this stuff has changed, man. You got guys in here. It doesn't have to, and I hate having these arguments, and we're going to do it, guys. We're going to do it. Tone, you and I know it because you and I argued about it years and years and years ago. It's changed. Some of these guys are guys that you do not want to go and step to physically. They're going to tune you up. They're tough guys, but they're also smart. They embrace the analytics. They know what this stuff does, and they know how to pick guys who are going to be out there and do all the things that we believe that they should be able to do analytically, but also be respectable inside the locker room. Doesn't mean they got to be choir boys. They got to be respected inside the locker room and do their damn jobs, because we've gone from one extreme to the other with this whole thing, and that's why we end up in the quagmire that we're in. So if we're going to make this decision at the end of the year, and I think they are, you got to go the right way.
But I do wonder.
I'm not just taking some offensive mind because he's an offensive mind. That's how you end up with Mike McDaniel and everybody's walking all over you. Or I hate to say it, that's how you end up with Kevin right now where everybody's walking all over him.
Hey, Miami's at least shown improvement over the years since everybody said they gave up on the team. Well, they're winning games and competing. That's more than we could say right now. But
fair enough.
I do think it's going to be hard to convince Jimmy Haslam after putting up that putrid of offense, in yet another season. And really, until Flacco bailed him out a few years ago, it was a bad offensive season that year. And the year before that, when they jettisoned Baker because he was injured and it didn't go well and all that stuff that we've gone over to death, that was a bad offense. So it's going to be hard to tell Jimmy Haslam, hey, maybe think about a defensive coach.
I know, but I'm sorry to sound so exasperated, everybody. I'm just so damn desperate for him to get out of their own way.
Of course, then the next thing would be you have a great defensive coach that's here already. His name's Jim Schwartz. Should you just elevate him?
No, maybe. Let me think about that for a moment. I don't want to give the answer.
The time in between can go, no, maybe.
Because I want to be open-minded.
See the wheels turning.
No, I want to be open-minded. Because I keep going back. I was like, all right, Greg Williams probably wouldn't have been a great head coach long-term. And Bills fans think he's terrible, but he would have been better than what you had. He would have been better. And it would have been at least, you would have been organized. But that's what you're asking for. And they got organized, and it's gone to hell. And I'm not looking forward to this search. It's not even like I like Kevin personally. We've been knowing that a million times, but it's also everything that goes with it, because it ain't just going to be a coaching search and then it's like, okay, guys, we keep this roster and we're just going to start winning games. No, it's the philosophy around it and everything. The quarterback these quarterbacks, guys, when they fire the head coach, and in so many ways, I don't know, unless they win the next 5 ball games, it seems that they probably will go in that direction. The quarterbacks that we're fighting about, they're gone. They're gone. New guys aren't going to come in here and want to deal with any of that. They're not going to want to. These fights we're having, these guys where I can't find a film guy. I found some film guys to say some nice things, but nobody's sitting there going, no, this is the difference. This is night and day better than anything else that we've ever seen. Not just with the Browns, but with everything. I don't want to do that. 216-474-0092, which now I think I can disagree with you. You think you would give up picks to go after Mike Tomlin?
Yeah, now I'd have to go back and see, because there have been quite a few trades of coaches. People don't realize how many there actually have been on what is typically the compensation.
It's pretty high usually.
Usually you don't give them up for it's usually like a first-round pick.
Yeah, first or a high second. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
what's going to be
John Gruden got traded.
What is going to be more valuable?
Edwards, what was that whole deal? Did Herm Edwards get traded?
I don't remember if Vermeil got traded from the Rams to the Chiefs, and that was a first, I believe.
Okay.
What is going to be more valuable to the Browns going forward? Mike Tomlin, who to me unquestionably elevates the floor for the Cleveland Browns moving forward. That is not. I can't see him coaching a 4-win Browns team. I just can't. Regardless of who the quarterback. So
Chiefs sent the Jets a 4th rounder.
So what is more valuable to you, Kenny? A wide receiver at number 26 or Mike Tomlin? I think it's obviously Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin, though?
Yes. You guys wouldn't have fun competing for the playoffs every year and having a 8, 9, 10 win year almost any year, regardless of who the quarterback is? That wouldn't be fun to you guys?
I don't know, man. I really have to.
And furthermore, guys, here's the other thing to pay attention to. This division, the AFC North, we are approaching kind of a reset here in the division. Because immediately, if you take Tomlin away from Pittsburgh, you've weakened Pittsburgh.
Have we? Or have they weakened us?
Yes.
They're willing to trade their head coach
so
to
now we're
us?
acting like he's bad?
For a first-round pick, do we not have to question the team that's been usually beating the brakes off us for the last 20-some-odd years?
I think having Mike Tomlin, who knows everything about Pittsburgh, I think you've unquestionably weakened them. You have Baltimore, where it is pretty obvious that their quarterback is not MVP caliber right now.
I think you're getting ready to be hoodwinked by the Rooney family. If they're willing to trade their head coach to the Cleveland freaking Browns for a first-round pick, I'd have to think there's something with the goods here that are damaged.
No,
you wouldn't be the least bit nervous.
He's got the oldest defense. He's got this old defense who's very expensive, but they're old.
That he's had hands in picking. He's had hands in bringing in.
He's had a 40-year-old quarterback that can't move, and they're in first place in the division. Doesn't that tell you
in a bad division?
Doesn't that tell you? But he's also made the playoffs,
and
when
they
the
blame
division
him.
is
They
good.
blame him for Kenny Pickett not doing very well over there. Do they not?
Well, Kenny Pickett got injured.
Well, Kenny Pickett did get injured, but they still blame him.
And
he let Matt Canada still run that offense.
This
is a bad argument.
And
no,
Kenny
you're
Pickett,
wrong.
Kenny Pickett, have you seen his career record?
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Above 500. 15-10. Who's been his head coach when that happened?
I can't
Mike
believe
Tomlin.
Are you saying this and being serious?
I mean, this is actually, again, I tell you, the division looks like there could be a reset because Cincinnati might be firing their coach. This might be the time to pounce.
You'd give up one of our 2 first-round picks next year for Mike Tomlin to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I just asked you a question. I didn't really hear an answer.
The answer is no. The answer is no, everybody. My answer is no.
Who gives you more wins next year, Mike Tomlin or the 26th, the 5th best receiver in the class next year?
I mean, you're a 3-win team right now. You're a 3-win team.
So which gives you more wins?
You are a 3-win. I'll say Mike Tomlin because you're a 3-win team right now.
That, my friends,
that's not champions.
It's what they call in the business. Please direct your attention to the YouTube Live. A champion's pose.
Come on, you're doing this.
Champion's pose. Up your nose with the rubber hose and
who is the wrestler?
This is Barry Horowitz.
Barry Horowitz.
This is not performative. This is not performative. You mean this? You mean this? A 3-win team through a 4-win team? That's champions pose.
Wait, 4-win team?
You said they'd be better. I said they were a 3-win team, so they'd be better. They would be better. They would be better with Mike Tomlin than Kevin Stefanski. I think they'd be a 5 or 6-win team
with Myles Garrett, no longer washed up TJ Watt.
Myles Garrett's only getting older. He's only getting older.
With Myles Garrett just about to break the single-season sack record.
Does
with
it have to be a wide receiver, by the way?
A better corner than they have over there. If you see Slay gets injured every single game. They are clearly going to win 8 to 9 games with Mike Tomlin next year.
Who would be our quarterback?
Well, if they just go get a receipt, it doesn't matter. That's the beauty of Mike Tomlin.
Yes, it does.
That's the beauty of Mike Tomlin.
Yes, it does. No, because you'd eventually get tired.
Kenny Pickett, Justin Fields, Russell
You're
Wilson,
not thinking
washed
big
up
picture.
Big Ben. Who the hell? 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers.
All around
Mason Rudolph again.
Duck
Hodges. Guys.
All around 500.
This is a decimation of Ken Carman.
Around 500.
In a one-on-one argument setting.
You're not aiming high enough.
We haven't had in years.
I'm not getting a new head coach to finish above 500. I'm getting a new head coach to hopefully take us to where we need to go. Deep playoff runs.
Are you doing what I did with Deshaun Watson?
What?
Are you making the same mistake that I made?
What is the mistake?
I said I was done with Baker because he was just going to get us at 8-9, 9-8 every year. Maybe we need to get back to 8-8, 8-9, 9-8. No, because I'm not going to have to have the conversation. I assume I'm not going to have the conversations about other people that we had about Deshaun Watson. So I'm not making I'm not making that mistake at all. I'm pointing out here that you just want to get to the middle here. I'm trying to be better. I think we can be better. I'll take Mike Tomlin if they fire Mike Tomlin, or if you want to talk about mid-round picks, maybe we'll talk about it. But good God almighty, a first-round choice on this team that you just sit there and complain my ear off all day, every day, about how we don't have enough talent on, and you want to give up a first-round pick, a precious first-round pick on the head coach of the Steelers? I think guys like Sean Payton
and I'm the wrong one
that
here.
The coach is
Sean
so much
Payton
more,
is his example.
And because he got rid of a first-round wide receiver because of the culture. The receivers are so much less valuable than the head coach in these situations every time.
Man, I think it's your desperation. I think you're making the same mistake you did with Deshaun Watson. I think your desperation is leaking through all this. My God. Listen to yourself for 20 seconds.
Ken doesn't want 9-8. He wants 4-win team with a great wide receiver.
I would eventually like, if you wanted to just get to 9-8, fine, but I'd like to aim a little bit higher there, and I'd like to have my players. I think there's other players or other coaches that can get this team even further. I'm not opposed to giving up a first-round pick for any coach. I have budged on that. But I ain't giving up a first-round pick for Mike Tomlin. 216-474-0092. Do you actually agree with this man? Ken Carman, Tone Master General on the Fan.
listen on the Odyssey app. Headline Sports News every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Master is wrong and reckless and irresponsible because he wants to give up a first-round pick for Mike Tomlin, the head coach of the Steelers. They can't hear you laughing. How do you really want to give up a first-round pick for Mike Tomlin?
Well, I am looking...
Are you just trolling me, or are you being serious here?
Well, I was only told if I don't have to give up a first-round pick, I won't, but I think you guys were telling me...
Well, Sean Payton was a first and a second.
Wow.
Bruce Arians was the one before him. He was a sixth, but I believe Bruce Arians was telling everyone, I will only come back to coach the Bucs. I won't come back to coach anyone else.
Well, your hot OC candidates are like Joe Brady, again.
Is he on the list?
Yeah.
Can I take
Bears offensive coordinator Declan Doyle? He's 29.
Can I open
Doyle?
Can I open real quick? Can I open the envelope if I forgot the names that I actually put on the list?
To peek? No, you're not allowed.
No, I know I took a picture of it somewhere.
The only thing you can do is
I don't think I put Joe Brady on the
list. You can get a tea kettle and steam it open right now in the studio.
Yeah. All right, hold on.
I can see through it.
For the fourth straight year, could a Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive coordinator, Josh Grizzard, 35-year-old former Yale player, Ivy.
We got to get away from Ivy.
I think he's kind of went up the. Well, first off, you said he's a Yale player, and so anything Ivy League is going to eliminate anybody from the job.
What about Cornell? If it's a Cornell,
no.
Brown.
Cornell's in the Ivy League.
Brown.
No. Yes, I am.
Are you?
Yes. You know what? Bucknell's too close, so they're not in there either.
Mike Kafka.
No.
Okay. Oh, can I interest you?
I don't need the Misney jokes.
Can I interest you in Clint Kubiak?
Who's his OC going to be? Kevin Stefanski?
I'm not going to say yes or no because I don't want to give away the list.
The same system.
I don't want to give away the list. Stick to what we were on. You want to give up a first-round pick for Mike Tomlin, or as they say in Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin. That's who you want to give up a first-round pick for. Mm-hmm. And that, my friend, is insane.
I've been told by so many Browns fans, can you just get us back to respectability?
That's not just about respectability. No, I respect him. Okay, he's a respected guy, obviously. But I'm not just trying to go back to the middle. And frankly, you can be a defensive guy and still put good people in charge of offense. You see what's going on up in Seattle. That's why you mentioned the Kubiak, for crying out loud. You can do that. But you haven't done that before. The Matt Canada thing was damn near treasonous to those folks. You set back Kenny Pickett. You let guys like me make jokes. No, I'm not. No, I'd like to get back to 9-8 land. Don't get me wrong. I know we got to crawl before we walk, but if I think that that's the ceiling, then I'm just. I almost made the worst quote ever. I'll go ahead and say it. I don't want the Dylan Gabriel head coaches.
No,
no, I don't mean that. I'm not trying to just get to 9-8. I want to get back to 9-8, but I want to go further than that after that. And I don't think that he's a guy that's capable of doing that with this team. And if the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you did not give an answer to this, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who hold on to head coaches like grim death, if the Pittsburgh Steelers are willing to move on from a head coach who they've had 3 of since before you and I were alive, if they're willing to give up a head coach for a first-round pick, I have to call into question, why are they willing to do such a thing?
Well, isn't it just because
they seem to value? It doesn't matter. They seem to value head coaches more than anything in the world. They value their head coach. And so I think the Steelers were looking to go, why would the Browns be willing to give us a first-round pick for our head coach? Should we reevaluate Mike Tomlin and maybe we're making a bad decision here? Do people in the NFL think that heavily? It's what the Browns do with Kevin Stefanski. All these people in the world, or at least in the NFL circles, Kevin Stefanski, if he gets fired, the Giants are going to pick him up like that. If Kevin Stefanski gets fired, so the Tennessee Titans are going to like that. And I think it does make the Browns kind of go, I'm sure they've been closer than we think about making a move for Kevin Stefanski. Maybe they haven't, but there's been a lot of times where it's an emotional game. The owners are fans. I bet they get emotional over it. I bet there's been times going, man, I don't think this is going to work out. My goodness gracious, I cannot believe what happened on 4th and a half a yard. And then they think, okay, let's let calmer heads prevail here. And then if all these people are lining up saying that Kevin Stefanski is just going to get hired as a head coach right like that, maybe it makes you think differently. Okay, we'll do the same thing for Mike Tomlin. And both guys, by the way, could just be destined for mediocrity or failure after all this. We have no idea. But I'm going to bet against that. It's not that I wouldn't give up anything. Like if you want to give up a 4th-round pick for Mike Tomlin, fine. Let's have that conversation. But if we're talking about
just talking about compensation.
Yeah, 1st-round pick, I think you're insane.
Well, I just think
fight for the 1st-round pick that you've been fighting for the last 10 minutes.
That's fine.
Be a man.
That's fine if I don't have to trade a first and it's something lower than that. I'm just saying a 1st-round pick.
What do you mean that's fine? You said you were over here pounding, doing champions pose over 1st-round picks.
A 1st-round pick. In that range, we're talking about normally like the 4th or 5th best wide receiver. I don't think they will get you as many wins as a real head coach.
Best wide receiver. And by the way, that 4th or 5th best wide receiver would be better than any of our wide receivers.
Probably. You do get in the bust. You get in the bust range when you start everything after normally, late 1st into the 2nd. You start getting into more bust potential.
Yeah. 216-474-0092. I can't imagine anybody would agree with you, but I'll hit the phones anyway. Paul on the road. You're next up on the Fan. Hello, Paul.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hi, Paul.
I wouldn't want Mike Tomlin. I think he would probably take a break from football if we ended up trading for him.
Oh, that's how bad. That's how bad he wouldn't want to be here.
And if we did find a quarterback, would we chase him out of town like we did Baker Mayfield? Baker Mayfield's way better than what we got now, and shows you what Deshaun Watson turned into.
We're not 500, but we're not talking about Baker Mayfield right now, though, Paul.
Yeah, I get it. I would think Mike Tomlin.
Baker, who has, by the way, come back to the pack dramatically over the last month.
You better watch what you say.
And Stefanski going to the Giants, they got better structure than the Browns do, so he probably would prevail there.
I don't know. Do they? Do they really have a better structure than what we have?
They seem to have.
I mean, they've been through, 6 coaches in 10 years, if you include the interims? Okay, so it's still 4 coaches in the last 10 years that they've had. So they've had just about enough. I'm not going to even tell you about the rumors that are going around on the internet of why the defensive end, there was their 1st-round pick that got why he wasn't allowed to play in the first quarter of the game yesterday. Jackson Dart's pretty good. Cam Scadabo's pretty good. I'll give you that. But I don't know if their
offensive line seems all right.
Their offensive line seems all right. You're right about that. But are they that much in a better situation when they're firing and hiring general managers and head coaches at the same rate we are? Jackson Dart is better than what we have. Jackson Dart is better than what we have. So you might be right about that, Paul. I'm not saying you're totally wrong. No, sir.
Yeah. And then if we got them 1st-round draft picks, I would assume we would be good at maybe getting some offensive linemen into the team instead of worrying about getting a quarterback this year also.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like beating a dead horse for the last 25 years.
I mean, a 1st-round pick. So you would not give up a 1st-round pick, or you would for Mike Tomlin? Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Good.
It wouldn't be no reason to. Okay. I mean, John Gruden's out there.
Well,
we could do a lot of unboxings. John Gruden.
Okay, can I explain something real quick?
His whole press conference should be him unboxing his things from his last location.
If high school football programs are going to send me things, I'm going to do an unboxing. I didn't mean for it to come off like John Gruden. It does come off like John Gruden. I didn't mean for it to come off like John Gruden. That's all. That's all.
We did a great unboxing of baseball cards at our live event a few weeks ago.
We did. Let me go to
just in wrappers.
Let me go to Todd in Akron. Hello, Todd.
It's an unwrapping.
Thank you for taking my call. I keep on going back to this. Remember, Baber was here with the Browns. We had a chance to get Josh McDaniels. And New England Patriots is 10-2. And I think it was the day before yesterday. You asked, will we trust Andrew Berry?
Well, Josh McDaniels isn't a great example.
The 1st-round draft pick? No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
We had a chance to get Vrabel here in Cleveland.
I don't think we did. So many people say we do. I don't think we did.
They screwed it up.
Todd, wait a minute. Todd.
Yep.
Stay with me. Okay, I'm not saying I'm not saying you're totally wrong or anything like that. I disagree with you. Let me tell you why. Do you think that the Browns are a mess?
Of course, I think the Browns are a mess.
Okay,
Yes, they are.
so if you thought that they were a mess, and they go, "Hey, you think we're a mess? We're going to let you come in and see everything that's messy about this football team for the next year." You're going to take a job with them if you have the opportunity to go take other jobs?
I love how you're right. I would not take a
Exactly. I know he grew up a Browns fan. I know he's from here. He's also a businessman, and he knows he's only going to get one more crack at this thing. So what are you going to take? You're going to take Drake May and the New England Patriots, or are you going to take what this is?
Oh, my God, but you just exposed something. You're absolutely right. I can't say a word.
Exactly.
I wouldn't want to work there either.
Exactly. Like, I understand. And Todd, you see, this is the thing, and thank you very much for the call, because I've said that a bunch of times. You know, it's a 4-hour show. People hear it at different times, so I'm not going to rip Todd for it. But, you know, we keep doing this thing, or, well, we could have had Vrabel, we could have had this guy, we could have had that guy. The Vrabel thing, there are possibilities. Yeah, you could have, if Lima's right about one thing. What would Kyle Shanahan have done had years ago he goes, I want to make a PowerPoint presentation, and Jimmy just walked in and goes, what if we just fire Mike and make you the head coach? What would he have done? He probably would have been like, I need an obscene amount of power. I don't know if they were going to allow that to happen at that time. And Kyle Shanahan's done a pretty good job with an obscene amount of power over there in San Francisco. But when you have these guys, you know, you see a lot of coaches, and they go on to, some are failures, yes, but they go on to successes in other places. They get a real big crash course on how to not do business. They get a real big crash course on how, as far as a football operation is concerned. They see a lot of things, and they learn from these mistakes, and we end up being the guinea pig for them. It's the same thing I was saying about the whole analytical point of view. Yes, there are plenty of teams that do analytics, and I think they do it better than us because they've learned from our mistakes. I mean, think about how long we've been an analytically driven team. So if you had a guy who, how young are football coaches anymore? Yeah, you still have some 40 and 50-year-olds, but you have guys who are coming into this business, who have been in this business, who are now 33 years old, who are starting to get job looks. If they've seen this, they know what's right and they know what's wrong. But for a guy like Vrabel, I know that there was a time where he had said, like, well, they didn't offer it or anything like that. Okay, but are you sure he would have taken it? Because if you know, and he knew, that it seems like the only one who didn't know was Gerard Mayo, that if that New England job is going to open up and you see Drake May sitting there, who people have really thought was going to not be this good, but they thought he was going to be certainly good this year, you're going to take the New England situation. You're going to take the team that had cap space, that had picks, that had the quarterback. That's what you were going to do because you have to do what's right for business. Guys, I love the Cleveland Browns. I love them. I love them. But if they go, Kenny, we'll make you the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, and I had the head coach of the Cleveland Browns or the New England Patriots, I'd have to make the right decision for me. What's going to make me more successful? It's going to be the Patriots. And I'm sure Mike Vrabel did grow up a Browns fan and all that other stuff that he says, but he wasn't going to be here. So this is the situation we're in. And that's part of the reason why I don't think you're out of the woods. If you're one of the people who just wants Stefanski let go, you're not out of the woods of thinking, well, they may still take a quarterback next year and bring him back halfway through the year, which is a terrible way to look at it. You guys know exactly how much I hate it, but that's a possibility, Tone. But no, I'm not so desperate to get it back to where it was. I'm not so desperate for Mike Tomlin that I'm willing to give up a first-round pick. There's really a handful of coaches that I might consider a first-round pick for. Like, is
McVay, Peyton.
McVay, I don't know if I'd give up a first-rounder for Peyton. I got to be honest with you. I think
Sean Payton?
I'd love to be 10 and...
Do you remember how bad the Broncos were just the year before they got him?
I'd love to be 10 and... I understand that. I'd love to be 10-2. I would. Do you believe that they're going to go far in the playoffs? Now, this is a weird year, I know, but do you think that they're going to go far in the playoffs?
Yeah, only because it's open, but no, I don't.
I think Sean Payton would also like to have that first-round pick, is what I'm saying. So I don't know if I'd give it... I mean, there's very few guys... I'm saying it's a first-round pick. I know we're in a terrible situation, but there's very few guys I'd give up a first-round pick for. I mean, you just said it. Sean McVay, Zach Taylor... No, I'm kidding.
Kyle Shanahan?
Sean McVay, maybe Kyle Shanahan, maybe Dan Campbell.
Because Shanahan has shown he doesn't need... To go to the Super Bowl, he doesn't need a first-round pick, quarterback.
It is not... It's not just a slam... I don't think there's any slam dunks. I think I have to think a lot about these guys because, again, there's only so many things that they can do.
Vrabel?
I still have to have the guys out on the field. I would probably do it for Mike Vrabel, yeah. I would. Me personally, yes.
I mean, he had the 1 seed in Tennessee. I know he ended up getting fired, but
Yeah, but they've proven that they don't know their ass from a hole in the ground down there ever since they let him go. I know they wanted to blame him for everything, but how many guys are crying over him right now? Which there are still Stefanski people out there that goes, boy, you guys are going to sound real familiar at the end of all this now, aren't you? We'll see. Coming up next, what's it matter to be given the entire year? Ken Carman, Tonemaster General, live on The Fan.
Anthony Lima for Fanatics.
Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Miss one day and you miss a lot. We are the radio home of the Cleveland Browns.
Here we go, Brownies! Here we go!
92.3 The Fan.
Podcast coming up 10:15 Eastern. We finally get to talk about Lane Kiffin. We finally get to talk about the other hirings in college football. We also finally get to talk about Ryan Day, a revamped Ryan Day. How Ryan Day has went from, that close to the bandsaw, depending on who you were listening to. Lima, you had sources. That close to the bandsaw had they lost to Tennessee, to being the preeminent coach in college football, to looking like a legend after the game against Michigan. He made Sharon Moore look like a interim head coach. That's the way I felt.
People, they laugh at me now, knowing what we know about what Ohio State has done after the Michigan loss last year. I definitely had heard from some people that he was not going to be the coach anymore.
I understand.
And not even necessarily.
I'm not saying that you're wrong.
Not even necessarily a firing, kind of a. Let's just part ways.
Firing that guy would have been. You have a parting of ways because you're that successful, and you're the only program that I think would be able to do that and still be good and not suffer those ramifications. But again, to get guys to be brainwashed into coming back, winning a national championship last year in the postseason, and then being able to come back and go through this year to be that good, to make the most of the type of talent you have, I think it's still going to be a tough road to go ahead and repeat, but I would still take Ohio State against the field, and I can't believe I'm saying that. I thought I never would. Now, I think it opens ourselves up to other discussions after the college football playoff, big picture type of things, historic type of things regarding your roster and regarding him as well. But I got to tell you, I was more impressed with Saturday's win than I was even the national championship game, even winning a national championship. I was more impressed with that. I thought that was his finest hour. And he's won against Michigan before. It just feels like he's had never done it.
Isn't that funny? People didn't realize that he had actually beaten Michigan before. But he got no credit for that first one because it was just, hey, here's the baton from the team that Urban Meyer had built. Yeah. The machine that he had built. And here you go, run with it.
But with Ryan Day, I think the difference with Ryan Day is, and we won't probably discuss this in the podcast because we're discussing it right now. Ryan Day, there was a lot of, he was born on third base, and because he was losing to Michigan, it felt more and more like he was born on third base. Okay, fine. He didn't feel like a placeholder, though. Like, he looked like the heir apparent last year winning the championship. Like, this is his program now. We can get rid of those other monikers. Then he beats Michigan last week, and it's like, this is where you've really arrived now in your own Buckeye legacy here. And it just made Sharon Moore look like a placeholder. Like, okay, now the writing's on the wall. And I hate to be so knee-jerky about that, but your offense is stagnant. You'd need to hit the portal for wide receivers. There's a lot of things that they need to do, and I think they will do that. But you just look at the way the both are, and then you get the baggage in with Michigan, and I'm going, man, it just... somebody had brought it up, and I have to ask you, like, if Sharon Moore were not already the head coach of Michigan, if the job was open, would he be considered for it? No. How many Big Ten jobs would he be considered for right now? I know he was in consideration for Purdue before this, which is actually a knock against him.
Michigan State would not have wanted him.
Michigan State would not have wanted him. So it really makes him look so much worse. And he's beaten Ohio State. He beat him once as an interim head coach. He beat him once as a regular head coach. But then all of a sudden, just watching Saturday and how much the offense really didn't move, how much they come up with an early turnover, how they're not able to take advantage of that. And I'm just seeing Ohio State execute at this level, and I'm going, this is night and day.
I know they were favored and had the better team. They've had the better team before. Really, the only Michigan team that was better, you could say now confidently, was the Mason Graham, the McCarthy year, and they won the national championship. Even though I thought it was pretty even going into that game. Mm-hmm. The fact that they battled through all that early on the road, and it was looking ugly in the first 10 minutes again, first 15 minutes, And I'll say this, it is just unbelievable that Ohio State under Tressel, they were a top 5 program, top 3, top 5 most of that time.
Yes.
Urban Meyer, it was them, Clemson, and Alabama, right? And then Georgia at the end. Now, it's Ohio State. Like, other schools have money. Ohio State has the resources, the money, the facilities. Nobody even cares about that anymore. Mm-hmm. But they've got everything. They've got the total package. They know where to go into the portal. Remember, it was going to be the Wild Wild West when this new system started. Well, are we going to recruit high school players? Are we just going to pluck guys from other teams? How do we handle retention of our players? They got it down. Like, they mastered that stuff. The stuff that you hired GMs to do, they mastered that stuff instantaneously. And they have become the preeminent program.
They have.
And the SEC is looking again. This is amazing. For a conference that had this thing locked up for damn near 15 years, the Big Ten could have the top 3 teams in the country right now in Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon.
Almost forgot about Oregon there for a moment.
They are the 3 most complete teams in college football right now.
Are you not giving Georgia proper credit?
I think so. Georgia, it's week to week with their quarterback.
Now, are you not looking at Texas A&M because they had just lost to Texas? I mean, Texas is still a talented football team.
Texas A&M is really good.
Okay.
But, we keep saying Ohio State of the field, but Big Ten or anybody else, it's not even close.
Is Will Stein staying or is he going to Kentucky?
Looked like he was going.
Okay. I meant for the playoff.
Yeah.
I know he's going to go be the head coach, but is he staying or is he going? By the way, 80%, almost 81% agree with me about Mike Tomlin not giving up a first-round pick for him.
If you
got to figure out coaches you would give up a first-round pick for. I think that this has changed your mind.
If you would have said second round, what's the poll?
I still wouldn't give up a second-rounder for Mike Tomlin. I'd be willing to go as high as a fourth-rounder for Mike Tomlin. This team needs players, man. They need players.
They need a coach.
We're about to go through a real, guys are 3-9, and I cannot tell you, we're about to go through a real tough, quote-unquote, rebuild.
Well, what do you think their record would be this year with Mike Tomlin? If Flacco would have been here,
Browns?
they would not have traded Flacco. And Flacco has been up and down, obviously. But Flacco or Kenny Pickett, it would have been one of them.
5-7.
Okay, and they got Tennessee this week.
They'd be a game out of first place.
They'd have a chance to win the division. So you're telling me that's not more important than a first-round pick? In the 20s, in the late 20s?
But I think you're thinking nearsighted. I don't mean to make a joke about that.
I'm missing a contact
I think
today.
you're being nearsighted. I don't think you're thinking a big picture. Yes, it would be, but then again, if we just kept getting to 6-7, 6-7, 6-7 the whole way through, you get tired of eventually being 500.
I agree with you.
That's why they're not ripping Mike Tomlin for what he's done in the past. They're ripping Mike Tomlin, well, some of it, but they're really ripping Mike Tomlin for what they think he can't do in the future, in the near future, which is get them any further than just making the playoffs. And I know that's a scary scenario for for the Pittsburgh owners and for you, but that's the truth of where you're at. And I'm not giving up major picks when I need players. I need them badly. I'm not giving up major picks just to finish above 500. Just above 500. It's not going to happen.
But
I can find other good coaches to get me to just above 500 and build.
The inverse of that is taking the shot at all those other good coaches and then having them, the hot coordinator, and then here comes
having a blow up.
4-13 again. And
Matt Nagy. Yeah, I know. I got it. All right, podcast coming up 10:15 Eastern. 92.3 The Fan Extra on the free Odyssey app. I don't think people are mad at Lane Kiffin. I think they're mad at themselves. How do you like that for a tease, Tone? Good. Brought to you by Extend Technology. You weren't even paying attention. Brought to you by Extend Technologies. 92.3 The Fan Extra on the free Odyssey app. Big thanks to John Greco. We're back tomorrow 6 to 10 for Big Country, for Jeff, for Mitch. For the Slippery Wizard, Anthony Lima, I'm Ken Carman. Have a wonderful day, my friends. Go Cavs.
And a review of Lawnmower Man 2,
Go
Beyond
Cavs.
Cyberspace.
There was a Lawnmower Man 2.
Of course there was.
Thank you for paying attention and making sure that you're not booing, but you clap.
Hey.
Sounds good.
Where's your entourage now?
Cool, I got on the last show.
Loser town, loser fans, and you guys are a loser show.
A little comment you made right there is disgusting.
This is Boomer Esiason with an Odyssey Sports Minute. Yale and 15-seeded Youngstown State squared off in the opening round of the NCAA's FCS playoffs. The Penguins raced to a 35-7 halftime lead, and when they led